Lewis.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. With 95% of the vote counted, the Democratic Senate primary in Michigan is still a very tight one right now. Just about 1% separating Dr. Abdul El-Sayed and Congresswoman Haley Stevens.
We got to wake up and be ready to go, because if we are going to win this thing, which we are, we are going to have to get ready and show Mike Rogers what a little stick it to him looks like.
The winner will take on Republican Congressman Mike Rogers in the general election. President Trump says a deal to reopen the Strait of Hormuz could be in place as soon as today. Police in Los Angeles arresting an allegedly armed man spotted near President Trump's golf course in California. And more worries about AI going rogue. Britain's AI Security Institute now says during testing of models from both Anthropic and OpenAI, they engaged in what was described as potentially harmful activity directed at real people and organizations. This is ABC News. A mom who's a deputy city commissioner in suburban New York City now under arrest for allegedly being in the getaway driver for her son, who's accused of shooting a New York City gang member earlier this summer. ABC's Chuck Severson has the details.
Jennifer Lackard's 20-year-old son Chase is accused of opening fire from a vehicle June 29th in New York City behind the Bronx Criminal Courthouse. Nobody was wounded. The mom, a deputy commissioner of public safety in nearby Mount Vernon, New York, has been fired, says the city. At arraignment, her defense lawyer says Lackard
dedicated her professional life to the health and healing of impacted communities.
Both face charges including attempted murder. Mom pleads not guilty. Bail $75,000.
In its first ever earnings call as a publicly traded company, SpaceX posted a loss of over $540 million. Revenues came in at about $7.8 billion, driven mostly by its Starlink communications service. The stock price dropping so much, Elon Musk is no longer a trillionaire. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
It is 6:02. We've got clear skies and a flood watch. 68 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Cheers going up at the Wesley Bell watch party. The incumbent congressman was in a rematch with former Congresswoman Cori Bush. Bell won, and he'll be on the ballot this November.
Here is Cori Bush's reaction.
For the next 2 years, this community will be represented by someone that didn't deem you valuable enough to show up to one candidate forum where there were audience comments, even though I showed up to everyone.
Bell, meanwhile, tried to sound an optimistic note.
You know what? There is a lot of noise that you hear during campaigns. There's a lot of chatter. There's national headlines, and everybody has an opinion. But we approach this from in a very simple way. We are going to work for the people right here in St. Louis.
Also winning their primaries, Ann Wagner, Bob Onder, and Jason Smith.
We got the final count because some of the people here, I know, they're not used to staying out this late.
St. Charles County Executive Steve Ellman, always quick to make a joke, but serious about seeking re-election if Bill Eigel got into the race. Ellman tells Maria Kina that's essentially why he decided not to retire.
You have not heard from him yet, Eigel?
Not yet. No, and
do you expect to?
I don't know. You know, a recent thing, he basically suggested that I was running against him for personal reasons, and I have nothing against Bill Eigel, the person. It's just the tactics that he used while he was in the Senate, and the fear that he would use the same sort of tactics in this office. And of course, the Senate, you know, you can filibuster and kill bills. In this position, you got to get things done.
Ellman says you can't just kill bad bills. You need to pass good bills, and to do that, you need to work with the 7-member council to build roads. You have to work with the State Highway Commission, the Roads Board, and all the mayors, something Ellman believes Bill Eigel would not have been able to do. Maria Akita, KMOX News.
Democrats in St. Louis County are putting their votes behind the current county assessor in this year's race.
A busy evening in Clayton Tuesday as Democratic nominee Jake Zimmerman celebrated a primary victory in the race for county executive. His campaign director, Rosetta Oconso, saying the win shows just how close he is to the community he represents.
He wants to fix what's happening here, and people believe that too. And so I think
I think voters saw that. I think they want and are looking for that. I think that's the space that we need to be in. And that means that St. Louis County is going to be in a better spot. I'm excited about that.
Zimmerman confirmed his goals with KMOX, saying St. Louis is certain to benefit from less bickering and more collaboration.
I think what the people of this community desperately want is for their elected officials to work together responsibly. Democrats, Republicans, independents, everybody wants the same thing, which is don't fight about nothing, don't squabble and bicker, just work together and get the job done.
He faces Republican County Councilman Dennis Hancock and Green Party candidate J.D. McFarland on November 3rd. Ivy Lyons, KMOX News.
Missouri voters turned down Amendments 4 and 5. That from Michael Calhoun.
The Missouri Association of Realtors aggressively campaigned against both measures, warning that Amendment 4 threatened voter rights, while Amendment 5 opened the door to new sales taxes on home sales, child care, and auto repairs.
The people of Missouri were not buying the bait and switch of Amendment 5. That's the bottom line. They saw through it.
Realtors spokesperson Scott Charton says the heavy advertising campaign behind the tax proposal failed to convince the public.
You know, we're the show me state. We're not the just trust politicians state. And in this case, Missourians saw that Amendment 5 was a bait and switch. It was going to wind up costing them more out of their pocketbooks than the supporters were willing to admit. I think the people have spoken, and now we hope that the politicians will listen to the people.
Why did the realtors get involved in the first place? Charton points to previous voter-approved amendments from 2010 and 16 that banned taxes on real estate transactions and sales taxes on everyday services as key protections that voters chose to preserve. Governor Kehoe sent a statement that says, quote, throughout this conversation on eliminating the state income tax, we made the case that Missouri should think boldly about its future, challenge the status quo, and pursue policies that make our state more competitive. While Amendment 5 did not earn the support it needed, I believe our work is far from over. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
New details emerging on Panera Bread's corporate move away from St. Louis. The Boston Business Journal reporting the company signed a lease in March for a 102,000 square foot facility in suburban Boston, marking a footprint expansion over its current 72,000 square foot office in Fenton. Panera confirming to KMOX last week it is relocating its headquarters to the higher tax state of Massachusetts as part of its company restructuring, though some support operations will remain local.
We'll check traffic and weather next at 6:07.
St. Louis City SC and Schnucks are teaming up once again for our annual week-long food drive this Wednesday, August 5th through Tuesday, August 11th. Visit your local Schnucks to donate non-perishable food items benefiting Operation Food Search. And join us Thursday, August 6th at the Lindenwood Schnucks on First Capitol Drive in St. Charles for a chance to donate and meet a few City SC players. Join the effort to help City SC and Schnucks kick hunger in our city. Find out more at stlcitysc.com.
Give the gift of a magical experience at St. Louis Union Station when you take a real train ride journey to the North Pole aboard the Polar Express. Meet Santa and experience the magic of the Polar Express story with hot chocolate, treats, music, and sing-alongs. For those that truly believe in the spirit of Christmas, head down to St. Louis Union Station this year. Book your golden ticket before they sell out at stlpolarexpressride.com.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
New Game Plus with Oxy makes your laundry smell incredible and fights stubborn smells, like the ones your dog Biscuit brought into your freshly made bed last night. But you wash that all away with Game, and now you're drifting asleep to the scent and sound of waves. Ah, nope, that's the dog licking your ear.
Biscuit.
It just might be our greatest scent ever, now with odor-fighting power. New Game Plus with Oxy.
Every day starts the same way, and then it goes wherever it wants.
Life doesn't stop for Cardinals baseball. It just kind of runs alongside it. Dave Glover here from The Dave Glover Show. We're talking real life, real stuff, and yes, a lot of Cardinals along the way, because that's how fans actually live it. It's just like happy hour, man. We get together every day from 1 to 5. We have fun, we laugh, we commiserate, we complain. DGS 1 to 5.
The Dave Glover Show at 1. And then Cardinals baseball. This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
It is 6:10. This is Total Information AM. Debbie Monterey, Tom Ackerman, and Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, right now, there are no worries on the area highways. Debbie, everything's out of there. That crash cleared downtown, westbound 44 and 55, so no longer any slowdowns at all through there. Everything looks great. Everything looks great in the construction zones on both sides of the river. And there are no other interstate issues for you at this time. So a quiet start to our Wednesday morning right now. Just a little heads up. Roadwork scheduled to start this morning at 9 a.m. on Lewis and Clark Boulevard, also 367 is the numbered name of the route. It's going to be work going on between 270 and Chambers, and they're going to be putting a barrier wall up along 367 Lewis and Clark through that area, and it'll be one lane only once they complete that work southbound. They didn't specify northbound will be one lane, but southbound will, and that sounds like that's sort of a permanent or semi-permanent situation, so watch for that, again, beginning at 9 a.m. this morning. Next update at 6:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Intervals of clouds and sun today. Watch out for heavy thunderstorm later this afternoon. There can be some damaging wind gusts associated with any thunderstorm, the high 91. Partly to mostly cloudy and sticky tonight with a couple of showers and heavy thunderstorms that can yield flooding downpours and damaging wind gusts, the overnight low 73. For tomorrow, a rainy start along with a thunderstorm. Watch for flooding on streets and highways. Mostly cloudy and sticky tomorrow afternoon with a stray thunderstorm. Tomorrow's high 83. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Right now, a clear sky, 69 degrees downtown at the Arch.
Incumbents from Melissa Price Smith as St. Louis County prosecutor to Terry Hollander on the St. Charles County Council largely won re-election, but in an upset, Gina Mitten takes out Steve Butts for 4th District State Senate seat, Mike Deering beating Tricia Burns for Republican State Senate in Lincoln County, and Tim Whitney versus David Frank will be the race for Jefferson County Executive.
Paul Berry is the Republican who will face Democratic Congressman Wesley Bell. Shane Cohn is the Democratic nominee for the City Recorder of Deeds. In St. Louis County, efforts to balance the budget with an online sales tax Prop U failed. It's the second time the question has been before voters, and they've said no.
Missouri Secretary of State Denny Hoskins says the referendum challenging Republicans' redistricting is unconstitutional, but he won't say how many signatures challenging redistricting were collected.
Because it's a moot point. Both the referendum as well as IP 2026-16 have been ruled unconstitutional. So again, it doesn't matter if there's one signature or 500 million signatures. They're unconstitutional according to Missouri state constitution.
Reporters pressed Hoskins on why he has the authority to rule it unconstitutional instead of just determining if there were enough valid signatures.
You know, what gives me this authority is when I was elected as Secretary of State, I took an oath to follow the Missouri Constitution. And that oath means a lot to me.
He says if people are not pleased with his decisions, they should contact their state lawmakers.
A woman captured footage of a masked teen boy in a clown costume creeping up her porch and whispering something into her Ring footage Monday night. Now police are charging that teen with murder.
Looking for you.
The Illinois State Police are asking anyone with similar footage to share it with them after the teen dressed as a clown has been arrested in relation to a homicide investigation. According to a press release, a body was found by East St. Louis police near 76th and State Street around 10 o'clock last night, about an hour after the footage you just heard. The juvenile was quickly identified and taken into custody. The victim has not yet been identified. Police have also not shared how they were killed. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Missouri is hosting first responder training this month and next. Kylie Dick Knight of the state's Homeland Security Office says the focus will be on handling major incidents like shootings.
Kind of combines a lot of the different components that would be used during a critical incident or an active attack.
She tells MissouriNet the goals are to share the latest techniques for stopping a threat, treating the injured, and evacuating those in danger.
Now, KMOX Sports from the St. Luke's Hospital Sports Desk. St. Luke's, St. Louis's #1 heart hospital.
All right, let's talk about the game first. KMOX's Matt Pauley.
Following the trade of Dustin May, Hunter Dobbins is now a full-fledged member of the Cardinals rotation, and he looks good against the Yankees. He gives up 2 runs, both on solo home runs, over 6 1/3 innings, in a game the Cardinals lose 2-0. Manager Oliver Marmol thinks very highly of Dobbins' performance.
A phenomenal job. Ton of lefties in that lineup. Fastball was good. They were aggressive early, which allowed him to get deeper into that game because the pitch count was down, but he navigated it well. Punched some guys out with the fastball sweeper. Everything was working, and he did a nice job of just being on the attack. So overall, really, really good showing by him.
Over 3 starts in his career against the Yankees, Dobbins has a 2.60 ERA. Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
Now for our cut of the game, sponsored by The Diamond Shop, thediamondshop.net. It's Chaim Bloom on our broadcast.
President of Baseball Operations following the end of the trading deadline. The ball low goes 3-0. You picked up a couple of outfielders in the deal for Dustin May and JoJo Romero with Milwaukee. And let's start with Alexander Frios, an 18-year-old.
Yeah, we're super excited to add him. He's a really, really high upside prospect, and he's producing now. I mean, he's pretty much wrecked the assignments he's been given and crushed those levels. Obviously a long way away from that upside, but does have the upside to be really a frontline player at the big league level. And again, he's 18, he's in low A, so there's a long way to go to that, but to get this sort of upside, that's hard to find in a player who is presently producing, and we're excited to have him on board.
Strike 1 was called on Rice, and then strike 2 as Rice is challenging the call, feeling he had a walk. And it is ball 4 low. The first walk given up by Hunter Dobbins. The other outfielder is Josiah Ragsdale, 22 years old. And he's the number 22 prospect in the Brewers system. Tell us about him.
Yeah, we like him quite a bit. He's someone who, further along in his journey, is a college draft who has moved through their system and really this year started to add some power to his game. Has tools on both sides of the ball. He has good hitting ability, like I said, coming into some power, has speed, can play all over the outfield, and by all accounts is a really terrific person and a terrific teammate. So we're very excited to add him. Just brings a lot of upside to help us at the big league level. Obviously, both these guys, we got to keep them growing and developing, keep refining their game. But you talk about 2 guys who you're not waiting for them to produce in the minor leagues. They're doing it now, and they're doing it with tools that suggest there could be more there.
Chaim Bloom on KMOX's broadcast last night on the Cardinals radio network. Cardinals, again, lost to the Yankees 2-0. Fresh off their World Cup run that captured the imagination of millions, the United States men's national team will appear in St. Louis. They are coming back to Energizer Park for a friendly against Chile on Tuesday, September 29th. Tickets will be available starting Friday at 10 a.m. That announcement from St. Louis City SC yesterday. I'm Tom Ackerman on the home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
I'm Tom Ackerman with this month's Siteman Cancer Center Spotlight. We are discussing bone cancer. July is Bone Cancer Awareness Month, and visiting with us is Dr. Angela Herbie, medical oncologist at Siteman Cancer Center. Dr. Herbie, thank you very much for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
Let's start with a sarcoma. What is a sarcoma?
So sarcomas are cancers that start in either bone or the soft tissues that hold our bodies together, like cartilage, fat, muscles, nerves. First of all, I think people say sarcomas are bone cancers, but it's really a group of about 100 different types of rare cancers, and there's about 15,000 new cases per year. And sarcomas account for only about 1% of cancers in adults, but they make up about 20% of cancer diagnoses in children.
Dr. Angela Herbie with Siteman Cancer Center. I'm Tom Ackerman. Thanks to Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer. For more information, visit siteman.washu.edu.
Well, it's official. My friends have all switched to Pure Talk because I told them they could save a bunch of money on a super reliable high-speed network with unlimited data. And because they're my friends, they trust me. As for the rest of you, well, Pure Talk understands that even though you might like me, you're not just going to take my word for it, nor should you. For that reason, and for a very limited time, Pure Talk is offering any of their plans for just $15 a month for the first 3 months, including their top-tier unlimited plan that normally sells for $65 a month. Think of it like a test drive, a super simple way to save $150 while you kick the tires on Pure Talk's blazing fast network, and a fine way to see for yourself why I switched from Big Wireless, along with a few 100,000 of my closest friends. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and be connected to Pure Talk's friendly U.S. customer service team. Again, dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and let the savings begin.
Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
6:20, time for traffic and weather. Let's see what's happening on your ride in. Roger Brand's got the latest from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, things are looking pretty good out there so far this morning, Debbie. This traffic reports a service of Huff Heating and Air Conditioning. If you're traveling in on eastbound Highway 30, starting to see a little volume east of Mauer up the hill to 270, northbound 55, right around McNutt. Just looks a little slow in that construction area at this point in time. Out to the west, we're still okay. Southbound 61, eastbound 70, 64 coming in from Wentzville. In fact, 70 coming in from Warrenton. Through all that construction still on the go. Headed across the Missouri River bridges downtown. We're still okay. Westbound 5570 between 255 and 203. No work zone delays there. And it still looks good across the Poplar and Mutual Veterans bridges as well. Next update at 6:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
For dependable, no-pressure home comfort solutions, turn to Huff Heating and Air Conditioning. Locally owned and family-operated for over 40 years. Our team will work with you on a plan that fits your home's needs with financing available. And as always, your family's comfort is our family's business. Learn more at huffheating.com.
AccuWeather's Joe Lundberg says we're going to have a hot and humid day today with a heavy thunderstorm. Now, that sounds a little bit more like summer in St. Louis, a high of 91 degrees after we had some really nice lower humidity and some good air the last few days. We're going to be dealing with some stuff. A high of 91 today, and then more thunderstorms in the forecast for tonight, low 73, and even more rain in the morning. Watch for flooding on streets. We're in a flood watch starting at 10 o'clock tonight, a high of 83 tomorrow. Currently, it's 69 downtown.
It is 6:22. Real-Time Information Center's Mike Nunnery with the O'Fallon, Missouri Police Department is crediting drone technology with bringing a potentially dangerous domestic situation to a peaceful end. Maria Kina delves into just how useful drones can be for law enforcement.
Kind of give us what happened there and what led you to him.
Within our real-time information center, we fly flock drone as first responder, commonly referred to as DFR. They're strategically located within the city. In this case, we had a call for service on the north end of town where a female who had an active protection order against someone who happened to be her son called 911 stating that he was at her house. We heard this information go out over the radio, and the Real-Time Information Center launched the drone knowing that we were about 15 to 20 seconds away from the address. Sent the drone over there once on scene, immediately saw the subject in the backyard, relayed that information to the officers. The subject got spooked, presumably by the sirens from the responding officers, and he took off on foot. Updated the officers with that information, and about the time he reappeared in camera view because he was under some trees, he jumped into a culvert that went to underground sewer system. Officers showed up. We immediately let them know where he went. They converged on the area, if you will, and eventually convinced him to come out. Came out of the sewer system, 50, 75 yards away from where he went in, taken into custody without incident.
Mike, when you send those drones out, when they go out looking for someone, in the case maybe where you didn't have eyes on the person and you knew the area that they were in a situation like that where he goes into an area where he can't be seen, do they have heat-seeking ability?
They do, but you have to understand that while they do have heat seeking, they still can't see through trees. So in this case, it wouldn't have helped much. Plus, it was during the daytime. It'll pick up on those heat signatures, but he was under pretty good tree coverage. We just positioned the drone and the camera such a way that no matter what direction he came out, we would have been able to see. So for us, he ran south of the we'll call it wooded area in the backyard, and that's where he entered the culvert. Had he gone north, really north, east, or west, we would have seen him. One of those things that when we're operating the drones, we have to be cognizant of. All right, sometimes getting a close shot is really good to make sure that they don't have any weapons on them, or if we're trying to identify who they are, make sure we're on the right person or vehicle. There are times where we need to pan out, and that was this time where you've got to make sure you're getting a good overall view.
How has this drone technology changed how you police?
It's phenomenal. Even just today, we had an officer call out on a disturbance in the middle of Highway K, and officers start heading towards her. Well, then she stops answering her radio. So then we send more officers. I had already had the drone up for another call for service, so I had diverted to that location. And when I got there with the drone, I was able to observe that the officer was fine. She was actually walking back to her vehicle to reposition it, and I was able to let the other officers know, hey, her status is clear. And they were able to slow down. So it's always a danger when officers are running lights and sirens, put themselves in danger. They put the public in danger. It's just inherently more dangerous when you're driving that way. So anytime that we're able to give them information to slow them down, or on the contrary, if we're able to give them information that, hey, they were responding one way, but things have escalated and they need to get there quicker, they can do that as well. So it works both ways. It's been a phenomenal tool for us to be able to get on scene, oftentimes quicker than them. Our officers do a really good job of somehow being in the right place at the right time. But we're still getting there most of the time quicker than them. And then we're able to give them that information immediately so they can formulate, a game plan. How do I need to arrive? What can I expect? If it's a person on foot, have they changed clothes? And that's going to happen. So if we're able to give them that information so that they can kind of formulate a game plan as they're arriving, it just makes the whole situation a lot more safer for the officers as well as the public.
Things like for pursuits, which can be so dangerous for the officers, but also for the general public too, if they get caught in the middle of it.
Right, and I've seen that a couple of times already. We had a neighboring agency that had about 20 of these e-bikes flee from them. They were able to back off, shut their lights and sirens off, and we were able to observe the movement of the subjects on the bikes. They were still, driving in oncoming traffic in the middle of the road, driving very unsafe. But lucky for us, they decided to go home. So we were able to track them all the way back home, and then that's where the officer was able to go and locate them and take them into custody.
Nunneridge Health KMOX, they have 6 drones. They are being funded by QT, and they are able to cover several parts of St. Charles County, not just the city of O'Fallon. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
It is 6:27. That time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
JerryKelly.com. Hi, it's Margaret from Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano. I've worked with Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano for more than 30 years. Their guidance and assistance with my estate planning and legal documents gives me the peace of mind that I have the retirement I've worked for and always dreamed of. And I'm playing it fully with my grandchildren, volunteering, and traveling worldwide. I play confidently knowing my estate is secured in any event. You can get your estate secured with Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano too. Visit their website, yourestateMatters.com, and download their free webinar on how to get started. Then make a free appointment. Your estate matters because you matter. Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano, yourestateMatters.com. The choice of an attorney is an important decision and should not be made solely on advertisement.
Someone had a birthday.
Yep, 50. Can't believe it.
50 years of wisdom.
Great segue. We have a health reminder from the CDC.
Pneumococcal vaccination is recommended for adults 50 or older. Says here, we're over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50.
I don't love those odds.
Same. Look what I found. Pfizer's Prevnar 20 is proven to help protect adults against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease in just 1 dose, and millions have already gotten it.
Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you have a severe allergy to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may lower your response. Common side effects include injection site pain and swelling, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138. Visit Prevnar20.com or talk to your doctor or pharmacist.
I'm on Prevnar20.com now, scheduling my appointment.
Good idea. And happy 50th.
Giddy up! It's the Cardinal Cowboy. Don't let garage door problems bench your summer plans. From repairs, tune-ups, and replacements, Renner Garage Door hits a grand slam every time. Score a free repair or replacement quote today, plus $100 off a new garage door. Featuring trusted brands like Delden, Amar, and LiftMaster, Renner delivers the quality, reliability, and performance your home can count on. RennerDoorSTL.com. Forward and back.
RENNER, RENNER. The Diamond Shop, making St. Louis sparkle for over 100 years, offers a wide selection of engagement and wedding rings, fine jewelry, and watches to suit your style and budget. Visit us at 12 North Central Avenue or schedule a virtual appointment at thediamondshop.net.
It's clear and 69 degrees downtown at the Arch at 6:30. I'm Tom Ackerman.
I'm Debbie Monterey, and this is Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, getting a little busier on Highway 30, starting to see some slower traffic back around West Watson, getting up to 270. Same thing on Tesson Ferry, starting to see some slower traffic, Butler Hill up to Schuessler. 55, we had some delays earlier, or at least a slowdown at McNutt. For now, that has thinned out. North 270 from 55 up through that Gravois area past 44 Manchester. Everything looks good. Starting to see a little bit of a delay coming down southbound 61, just the ramp getting onto eastbound 70, a little bit of a jam up, a backup on that ramp. We still look good on the Illinois side. 55-70, the work zone between 255 and 203 clear, and 64 across the Poplar, 70 across the Musial Veterans Bridges. No delays there currently. Next update at 6:40 from the Overhead Door Company at St. Louis Traffic Center.
AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg says intervals of clouds and sun, hot and humid today with a heavy thunderstorm later this afternoon, a high of 91. These thunderstorms can produce flooding downpours and damaging wind gusts. Low 73 tonight with a chance of thunderstorms, and tomorrow morning, creating a flood watch for us beginning at 10 o'clock tonight. High tomorrow of 83 degrees. It's 69 right now.
And in the news, of course, it was a big election night, and incumbent Steve Ellman wins the St. Charles County Executive Republican primary, defeating Bill Eigel, Jason Law, and Arnie A.C. Dienoff with 48% of the vote.
KMOX asked Ellman about the overwhelming losses for Amendments 4 and 5.
I don't have time to support or oppose either one of those. And I, at the time, said, I don't think people should rely upon what politicians think about those. That's why we have an initiative process to actually send it to the people.
Ellman says it's important to know how politicians you are sending to Jefferson City feel about the amendment, but he pretty much stayed out of publicizing his opinion on Amendments 4 and 5.
Legal drama amongst Alton city leaders is the topic of tonight's City Council special meeting. That meeting comes after Mayor David Goins received a temporary restraining order blocking the council from removing two of his appointees. The agenda includes a closed session for the council to discuss pending litigation, followed by an open session where possible action and response will be covered.
The meeting is set for 6 tonight at Alton City Hall. KMOX has reached out to Mayor Goins but has not heard back.
The vacant municipal courts building across from Stiefel Theater will stay vacant as a developer reaches the end of a 10-year journey to turn it into a hotel. Hassan Adelani with Vertical Realty Advisors tells the Business Journal they did everything they were supposed to do. It just came to a complete stop, and he doesn't even know what he should do now.
The city has repeatedly tried to find a redeveloper for the property it owns, including a request for redevelopment proposals in October 2024. That netted 2 bids, including Adelani's, who estimates he spent more than $1 million in pre-development costs. He says the city never reached out to him for more information, and the committee working on the plans hasn't met since March of last year.
It is 6:34, and the news is sponsored for you by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. Over 35 years, I've seen it all. Car crashes, work injuries, defective products, medical mistakes, lives flipped upside down in an instant. But I've also seen something else, the power of fighting back, the power of winning. Over $30 billion recovered and counting. Size matters, reputation matters, results matter. There's only one Morgan & Morgan.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged
judged on its own merits.
For the last 33 years, you've discovered that at Banner Construction, we pride ourselves on quality craftsmanship. We believe the single most important decision homeowners must make when considering an exterior restoration project is who do you hire. At Banner, we provide well-engineered, meaningful, long-term solutions to transform your home into the pride of the neighborhood. Let us help you fall in love with your home all over again. Call or visit bannerconstruction.com and have a banner day.
It is 6:35, and we're about 5 minutes away from our next check of traffic and weather for you. Right now, it's time for your money report, which is sponsored by Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano, Elder Law Attorneys.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Novo Nordisk's blockbuster weight loss pill isn't delivering the blockbuster results investors were expecting. Sales of the Wegovy tablet totaled about $494 million last quarter, failing to live up to the hype of the launch that was expected to be a blowout. This is raising questions about whether Novo can close the gap with rival Eli Lilly. Shares of Novo are falling in trading. Checking in on the markets, Wall Street cautious this morning. Shares of SpaceX lower in trading after the company projected higher than expected spending on its artificial intelligence business. S&P futures rising 13 points. However, NASDAQ futures are falling by 35. An electric car maker Lucid slamming the brakes on spending. The luxury EV company is vowing tough medicine to rein in its cash burn. Lucid has unveiled a plan to save $1.4 billion this year in a broad reset of its operations. Lucid has been dealing with heavy costs. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, you're not alone. Most importantly, you don't have to live with it. Paramount Men's Medical Center restores men's sex lives in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, even when Viagra and Cialis don't work. Here's Dr. Simovitz, specialist in men's health.
Paramount Men's Medical Center's painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. 98% of patients see instant results right in the office.
Men are now lasting longer than they ever imagined. And the best part, at Paramount Men's Medical Center, your consultation and first treatment are free. Qualified patients even get their testosterone checked free. Call 314-720-8444. 314-720-8444. Take control of your sex life. Call now. 314-720-8444.
Let me tell you something about insurance. When you sign your insurance policy, for some brokers, that's the finish line. Handshake, commission, done. Then you may not hear from them again until it's time for renewal. But your business runs all year, so do the gaps and the risk. So go to Supersure.com. If your company has more than 25 employees, whether you're the owner, CFO, or HR manager, it can be too complex to just go buy a policy online. Supersure is the super agency built for you, licensed in every state for your business insurance and employee benefits, all with year-round support for you and your team. At Supersure.com, you can access tools like fine print facts. It'll translate your current policy into plain English so you see what's covered and what's not. Plus a business value calculator so you can estimate what your business is worth so you know what actually needs protecting. Go to Supersure.com. One super agency, one powerful platform, all your policies in one place. Supersure.com. That's Supersure.com. Paid for by Supersure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency.
Hi, I'm Mark Cantor. The people around here are hardworking people, just like you. And when someone in your family gets hurt in a car wreck, everything can change very fast. That's why having a local lawyer matters. At Cantor Injury Law, we know these towns, these roads, and the people who drive them every day. When you call us, you're calling a local team with boots on the ground, ready to fight for you. You can count on Cantor.
CantorInjuryLaw.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Today, the Cards, the Yankees.
Emron Total Access 510. First pitch 6:05.
Cardinals Radio. 104.1 FM KMOX.
It's 6:39. Federal officials tell ABC News they now fear as many as a dozen states may have had water and wastewater utilities compromised in cyber attacks. So far, it has not been confirmed that Iran is behind those breaches. However, law enforcement and intelligence officials believe that this is likely Iran or some proxy group affiliated with Iran or doing the bidding on behalf of the Iranian government.
Health officials are investigating jalapenos served at Chipotle restaurants. Chipotle is removing jalapenos at some of its restaurants because of concerns about a salmonella outbreak. The company is saying it is acting out of an abundance of caution. Health officials in Minnesota say more than 100 salmonella cases appear to be connected to those jalapenos.
It's 6:40. Time to turn to traffic and Roger Brand at the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we got a crash out west right now on Highway N in the Forestell area. If you're headed that way, it sounds like the westbound lane is blocked right now by that crash. It's Highway N near Shaper Road. That would be east of Highway T. Again, south of Forestell, so be advised if you're headed that way. If you're headed down southbound 61 in the general vicinity, slow traffic now from Wensville Parkway to the 70 East ramp. Once you get past that point, you're good to go on eastbound 70 or eastbound 64. They both look great coming across some Missouri River bridges. Southbound 270, a little busy now, Olive to Ladue. North 270 still looks okay. North 55, though, we have a couple of slowdowns, a very brief one right past McNutt, and then the right lanes north of Butler Hill, like Mattis up to 270, are kind of busy at that point. Tesson Ferry, a little heavy at Schuessler. Doesn't look as bad as it did 10 minutes ago. 30. Mauer Industrial up the hill to 270 again. Just a couple of slowdowns. And a couple of slowdowns on the Illinois side. Westbound 64, Baugh Avenue to about 3rd Street, and then just busy across the Poplar after that. Next update at 6:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Brought to you by Staples.
It's officially the most wonderful time of the year at Staples. They've got back-to-school supplies as low as 25 cents, up to 40% off select tech, 20% off for teachers, and more. Check out all the deals at staples.com/back-to-school. Staples, that was easy.
Let's check in with our AccuWeather meteorologist, Joe Lundberg, because there is some rain on the way, right?
Indeed there is. It's not a matter of when, not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. First batch of showers and thunder showers is approaching from the north and west. These will weaken, but something could get in here by late morning. But we'll see a lot more clouds and sun today. That'll keep temperatures in check, but still we can get to 90, 91. Watch out for some gusty winds with any thunderstorm this afternoon. Tonight, partly to mostly cloudy. It'll be muggy with a couple of showers and a heavier thunderstorm or two. Could be some flooding downpours along with gusty winds, the low 73. And tomorrow looks like a rainy start to the day. Could come down fairly hard and cause some localized flooding in the morning, maybe a thunderstorm too. Then in the afternoon, mostly cloudy, our high 83 with a stray thunderstorm. Back to some sunshine on Friday, still a risk of a thunderstorm, the high 86. And the heat builds through the weekend with sunshine Saturday. We're headed to 90, low to mid-90s on Sunday. 72 at St. Peter, 74 in Florissant, and 74 partly sunny downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Joe, thanks very much. It's coming up on 6:43. Sports on the way in 2 minutes. The Senate Judiciary Committee voted along party lines to advance Todd Blanche's nomination to serve as Attorney General this morning.
Every Democrat on the Senate Judiciary Committee voted against Blanche, citing his handling of the Epstein files, the prosecutions of Trump's critics like James Comey, and Blanche's past support for the DOJ's controversial anti-weaponization fund. Democratic Senator Sheldon Whitehouse.
Today, I think, is a sad and embarrassing day for this committee.
The full Senate could vote on Blanche's nomination as early as this week. With Republican Senator Mitch McConnell still absent from the Senate, Blanche can only afford to lose 2 Republican votes for his nomination to survive. Peter Haralambous, ABC News.
A new legal battle being fought on behalf of Amazon delivery drivers, ABC's Sophie Flay.
New Jersey is suing, accusing the company of illegally driving down the pay and working conditions of thousands of delivery drivers. Those drivers show up in Amazon vans, wearing Amazon vests, carrying boxes with the Amazon logo. But most of them don't actually work for Amazon. They work for small contractors, which the company calls delivery service partners. But the lawsuit claims those partners are entirely dependent on Amazon to survive, and claims the company uses that power to control their routes, their hiring, and their pay, while crushing any attempt by workers to unionize.
Cigarettes. ABC's Jim Ryan says they are losing favor among younger Americans.
The government's annual report on substance use and addiction found that about 36 million Americans considered themselves tobacco users in 2025, but nearly 44 million used marijuana over the same period. And increasingly, nicotine isn't being smoked but loaded as liquid into e-cigarettes. 29 million Americans reported regular nicotine vaping last year.
Major League Soccer formally introducing Larry Berg as its next commissioner at the league's headquarters in New York yesterday. Berg will officially succeed Don Garber at the start of the 2027 season, taking over after Garber's 27-year tenure as commissioner. Here's Berg.
Having the opportunity to participate in the growth in soccer in North America is something that is an incredible opportunity.
Now, KMOX Sports from the St. Luke's Hospital Sports Desk. St. Luke's, St. Louis's #1 heart hospital.
St. Louis City SC announced that the United States men's national team will return to Energizer Park. That'll happen on September 29th when the United States takes on Chile in the Impact match presented by New York Life. It'll kick off at 7 o'clock Central on TNT and other channels from Energizer Park in St. Louis. Tickets go on sale this Friday at 10 a.m. As for the Cardinals, they are in New York taking on the Yankees.
Grisham leads at first, and the 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss! Struck him out with a high, hard one.
Caleb Ferguson, he's going to be a good one. Lefty reliever. The Cardinals picked him up just before the trade deadline in $250,000 of international bonus money. They made the deal with the Reds. Chaim Bloom on our broadcast last night.
Yeah, we were excited to snag Ferg right there at the really a true buzzer beater. I think we got that one in with less than a minute on the clock to really submit it to MLB. And you know, amidst all the other things we were doing, obviously we talked about a lot of the things we're doing for the long haul. But you know, we have been short on lefty relief out there since JoJo went down, and there was something that we're going to keep tabs on a few guys to see if we could snag one of them depending on availability, and we were able to get Caleb right at the end. Obviously he's battle tested with a couple organizations, brings a lot of experience, some ability out there, and help us, you know, hopefully navigate games better in the late innings.
Here's a strike, a 1-ball, 1-strike count on Nelson Velasquez with 2 outs and nobody on in the fourth. 1-0 New York. And talking with Ferguson in the clubhouse today, he's really happy to be wearing the birds on the bat.
Yeah, I've seen him obviously over the course of time as an opponent in different situations. He seemed pumped to be here and pumped to be a part of this. We're really happy to have him. And like we said, we could certainly use him. And I mean, happy he's here tonight. There's a bunch of lefties in this lineup. So it's nice to have him on board and to have him help us down the stretch.
Ferguson's been in the game for a long time, debuted with the Dodgers in 2018 and spent 5 seasons with them. Then in 2024, he pitched for 2 teams, the Yankees and the Astros. In 25, the Pirates and the Mariners. And this season, the Reds, before the Cardinals, as I mentioned, picked him up just before the deadline. Ferguson pitched last night and actually pitched well for the Cardinals in relief, an inning in 2/3 of scoreless ball. But at that point, the Cardinals had no runs, and they finished with no runs. They lost the game 2-0 to the Yankees. It was a good start for Hunter Dobbins, who went 6 1/3 and allowed 2 runs on just 4 hits. But the Cardinals had no offense to speak of, 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position. They'll take on the Yankees tonight. We'll have it for you at 6:05 on KMOX from the Bronx. Starting pitcher for St. Louis is Andre Pallante, and he'll be opposed by Will Warren. Who's Hot, Who's Not? Sponsored by St. Louis Composting, growing gardens and making memories. St. Louis Composting, 9 locations in the St. Louis area. There's one near you. All you have to do is go to stlcompost.com, and you'll be on your way. stlcompost.com. There you will find a menu of products and services, including compost, mulch, and soil. We went with the dark walnut color-enhanced mulch. There are many you could choose from, as you will see. And the mulch looks really good around your trees and in your flower beds, not to mention compost for your garden and soil for your yard. They have it all. They even have the soil by the bag from the Missouri Botanical Garden that a lot of people like. They have garden compost from the Botanical Garden as well. This is St. Louis Composting. You can have it delivered, or you can pick up from one of their 9 locations, stlcompost.com.
America is turning 250 this year, and Circa Sports is celebrating by offering all users in Missouri $250. For everyone in Missouri, all you have to do is deposit $250 on your Circa Sports app, then play through that deposit. Once you do, Circa Sports will reward you with $250 right in your account. This is available for everyone in Missouri, new and existing users. Celebrate 250 years and find out more at circasports.com today. Must be 21 or older and in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The 3-2 pitch with the runner going a swing.
Ready to elevate your game? Join the MBA Sportscasters Forum on Tuesday, September 15th in St. Louis. Learn from Cardinals beat reporters, broadcasters, and Hall of Famer John Rooney as they break down play-by-play, reporting, interviewing, and covering the game. Then cap off the day with the Cardinals versus Giants at Busch Stadium. Step into the booth. Sharpen your skills. Go to KMOX.com/events for details and registration. Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM, KMOX. Total Information AM, Debbie Monterey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It is 6:50, and this is Total Information AM. Let's get a check of your ride in right now with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, I'm still seeing some delays on Highway N out in the Forestville area, Debbie. This traffic reports service at Chesterfield Fence and Deck. We had a crash blocking the westbound lane of Highway N at Shaper Road, or right near it, just to the east of Highway T. So just be advised if you're headed that way. Southbound 61 starting to back up about midway down from Highway P to Wentzville Parkway, slow to that East 70 ramp. Once you get on East 70, it looks great. So does 64 coming out of St. Charles County. South 270 starting to slow down, approaching 364, headed down to Olive. Then it sorts itself out. Northbound 270, just a little busy approaching Gravois 30. A couple of slow spots, Mauer to 270. Doesn't look that bad there. The right lane's 55. North of Butler Hill up to 270 or a little slow. Downtown we have volume. Westbound 64 from the 70 split to about 3rd Street and then on the Poplar. And eastbound 5570 seeing a little slowdown in the work zone approaching 111. Chesterfield Fence and Deck is your premier provider of fences, decks, patios, sunrooms, and more. Call them for a free estimate today. Now offering 20% off your next outdoor project. Chesterfield Fence and Deck. ChesterfieldFence.com. Next update at 6:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Roger, we've been sailing along here with this nice sunny weather. This is a forecast to pay attention to. AccuWeather's Joe Lundberg says hot and humid today with a heavy thunderstorm. Later this afternoon, most likely a high of 91 today. And then tonight, humid with a couple of showers and heavy thunderstorms. A low of 73. We'll be in a flood watch starting at 10 o'clock tonight with periods of rain and a thunderstorm tomorrow morning, a high of 83 degrees. Friday, a thunderstorm around as well with a high of 86. And it's going to be warm and sticky, hot and humid this weekend. So that summer weather is back big time. It's 70 in Florissant, 70 in St. Peters, 69 degrees downtown at the Arch.
The news continues at 6:52. The historic Virginia Theater in South City, built in 1910 for August Busch, has been vacant for years. The city's Land Reutilization Authority approved spending $115,000 in federal funds to stabilize the Dutchtown property that was once a Warenberg Theater. The city will also use $500,000 in ARPA funds for improvements at a new maintenance operations center on Martin Luther King Drive.
Illinois drivers now have the right to challenge auto insurance rate hikes they feel are unfair. Governor Pritzker signed the bill into law, and he says the reforms are long overdue.
Thanks to our efforts, the Department of Insurance now has broad authority to review and regulate home and automobile insurance rates. It's not asking too much to say to insurance companies, if you're telling your customers that rate hikes are necessary, you should be able to prove why.
Insurance companies are banned from increasing premiums by more than 10% without a 30-day notice before renewal.
Locating hidden fire hydrants or rural water access points can create costly delays for emergency crews arriving on the scene. Alton State Rep Amy Elick says new street marking legislation is specifically aimed at solving that problem outside major towns.
We believe that this will just help find hydrants or water sources in the event of a fire, especially in rural areas, maybe where those water sources are a little bit harder to find.
Under the law, local governments are able to paint 4-inch blue square reflective markers directly onto the road pavement.
We're nearing that dreaded time of year for some kids, the end of the sleep in late summer school vacation and back to getting up early in the morning.
Pediatric neurologist Dr. Benjamin Kay at WashU Medicine says parents can do a lot to help their children transition back to a school year sleep schedule.
If you can, maybe get started a week early, right? I mean, there's a lot going on when school starts, a lot of different stressors that come in. So if you can start moving that sleep schedule back to whatever it's going to have to be when school is in session, maybe during the last week of vacation, that would be ideal. And, while that may sound like a drag, you can also make it fun and have sort of family bedtime routines, or movie night that you move up in time to kind of reestablish that rhythm for children.
Unlike adults who need about 8 hours of sleep a night, Dr. K says younger people need more. Teens should get between 8 to 10 hours a night, children 9 to 11 hours. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
I heard it's somebody's birthday.
Birthday excitement. It's your birthday.
The birthday shout out is sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back. Happy birthday wishes going out to Bill Malik from the Life Group. Also, Kristen Kelly Salmon, Aja Williams, and W. Riley Franklin celebrating his 100th birthday today. That's from Ellen.
This is the best birthday ever.
You've pictured it, the garage door that finally makes your home look the way you want it to. And now get $500 back on a qualifying garage door with the Overhead Door Home Refresh Rebate. Qualifying purchase must be made by September 13th. Let Overhead Door Company of St. Louis upgrade your curb appeal and get you up to $500 back. Schedule a free estimate at overheaddoorsstlouis.com. Select models. Rebate paid as a Visa prepaid gift card. Restrictions apply. See website for full terms.
You need a dog or a cat or some other kind of pet in your home. They're very good for your health, And if you're looking to add for a new best friend to the family, now would be a perfect time because through this entire month of August, the Humane Society of Missouri and Worldwide Technology Raceway are teaming up to help more dogs find loving homes. I am all about that. The first 200 dogs adopted from any Humane Society of Missouri location during August will get 2 complimentary tickets to the NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts 250 NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. That is coming up on September 12th. So, that's just an added bonus. I mean, seriously, though, you're not just gaining a new best friend. You're giving an animal in need a second chance and the forever family it deserves. And thanks to this great community partnership, you'll also get an unforgettable night at the Raceway. You can get all the details at hsmo.org and see all the adorable dogs waiting for their forever families. The Humane Society of Missouri, hsmo.org.
My constipation with belly pain kept coming back. I'm back! Like her. Future me. You know why I'm here. Our doctor figured it out. Your symptoms keep coming back because it's irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C. And Linzess could help you get ahead of it.
Linzess linaclotide is the #1 prescribed branded treatment for IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily prescription pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2 years old. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. Talk to your doctor and say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
Let's hear from Roger Brand of the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Right now, things aren't looking all that bad. The only place we really have a little bit of a backup right now on the interstates in the immediate area on the Missouri side of the river is southbound 270. Delays from about Dorset running down to Olive. It's backed up through that 364 area briefly. Southbound 61 looks better. There's a couple of slowdowns, though, just past Highway P and then Wensville Parkway to 64, but neither of them are jammed. So, again, it looks better than it did 10 minutes ago. Northbound 55 also looks better. The right lane's just a little slow. Butler Mattis doesn't look as bad as it did earlier. Westbound 64 pretty well cleared out, headed for the Poplar Street Bridge. And eastbound 5570, that's the only delays really on the Illinois side, east of 203 most of the way into 111. If you're headed that way, just be prepared. But otherwise, the rest of these interstates are pretty quiet. We do have that one crash, though, on Highway N. Westbound lane of Highway N is blocked east of Highway T, just south of Forestel. Next update at 7:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Today is Wednesday, August 5th. I'm Debbie Monterey.
When it comes to harder petitions and higher sales taxes,
the people spoke loud and clear about Amendments 4 and 5.
I'm Michael Calhoun with the latest.
I'm Maria Kina.
Let's have one more beer and go home.
Another 4 years for St. Charles County Executive Steve Ellman.
Zimmerman takes the Democratic nomination for county executive. I'm Ivy Lyons in Clayton with details ahead.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. Clouds and sun today with a heavy thunderstorm later this afternoon, the high 91.
I appreciate the take. I really do. I've gotten to talk to Joe quite a bit over the years. And
that is Ollie Marmol responding to Joe Buck in 15 minutes.
The trusted voice of St. Louis. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. Still so tight in Michigan. The Democratic Senate primary race, Congresswoman Haley Stevens and progressive Dr. Abdul El-Sayed separated by just about 1% right now. In Ohio, Congressman Max Miller is waving off calls for him to step down amid allegations he abused his ex-wife, the daughter of Ohio Senator Bertie Moreno. Here's ABC's Rachel Scott.
House Republican leaders have remained silent on all of this. President Trump has publicly called Congressman Miller a good person, but sources tell me that the president did speak with Miller by phone and expressed concerns over whether he can win re-election.
Under arrest in Southern California, a man accused of carrying a gun and taking pictures and videos of the Trump golf course in Los Angeles County. The president says a deal on reopening the Strait of Hormuz could be announced as soon as today or tomorrow. Oil prices bouncing back up again this morning. Brent crude, the worldwide standard, now trading at a little over $80 a barrel. This is ABC News. When a group of would-be robbers used bear spray on an armored car driver, the armored car driver fought back using a real gun. All of it happening in a Houston, Texas strip mall, says ABC's Jim Ryan, who's in Dallas.
When a Loomis security guard arrived at a check-cashing store to make a delivery, he noticed a pickup truck idling in the parking lot.
When he came back out, that's when the suspects approached him, used the bear spray, tried to rob him, and he fired shots at the suspects.
Houston Police Lieutenant Larry Croson says the getaway vehicle was tracked to a car wash where several people were trying to clean out blood stains. Meanwhile, the staff of an urgent care clinic called police to say they were treating two gunshot victims, aged 15 and 16. They're expected to recover and face charges. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
Pope Leo is planning another trip, this one to South America. He's going to Peru, where he was a missionary, and also Argentina and Uruguay. Leo is planning to visit 10 cities in 12 days. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
It is 7:02. We have sunshine and 70 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Primary voters in St. Louis County have picked their candidates for county executive.
Beat out state senators Brian Williams and Angela Walton Mosley for the position. He says the campaign marks a time for change now.
If you are interested in giving us a St. Louis County government that once again the people of this community can be proud of, then I look forward to welcoming you into the rest of this fight.
Zimmerman discussed the win with KMOX. That was after he gave his victory speech Tuesday evening.
I think what the people of this community desperately want is for their elected officials to work together responsibly. Democrats, Republicans, independents, everybody wants the same thing, which is don't fight about nothing, don't squabble and bicker, just work together and get the job done.
It was a celebrant atmosphere when campaign director Rosetta Oconso said voters across the state would see Zimmerman alongside several other important issues this year.
I look forward to what happens in this abortion ballot initiative in November and look forward to being able to make choices for my own body, just like the rest of the women that live in the state. And I'm just hoping Missourians will continue to use their power and their voice to show up to do that, even when our legislature is not interested in the will of the people.
Zimmerman faces Republican County Councilman Dennis Hancock and Green Party candidate J.D. McFarland. That's when St. Louis hits the voting booth this November. In Clayton, Ivy Lyons, KMOX News.
Incumbent St. Charles County Executive Steve Ellman wins the Republican primary with nearly 48% of the vote. KMOX's Maria Kina spoke one-on-one about his decision to seek another term.
Now that it's over, what made you decide to get back into it after you thought you were going to retire?
Well, basically, several years ago, I had people trying to get me to come back in. And I said, no, I don't want to. We got two other people that are wanting to run, and I said, we need to get it down to one of them against Bill Eigel. And I worked for a long time to do that, but I promised people if a year out, if the polling showed I was the only one that could win, I would run.
As of 10:30 last night, Bill Eigel still had not called Ellman, and he wasn't sure he would. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
Well, the nation was watching St. Louis's campaign for Congress. The rematch between Congressman Wesley Bell and former Congresswoman Cori Bush went the incumbent congressman's way. Bush, to her supporters,
St. Louis lost. St. Louis, you deserve a representative that sees you, that hears you, that cares about every single one of you. That's why I'm looking at every single one of you. Because you deserve that.
Wesley Bell, meantime, in his victory speech, said St. Louis should be doing better than it is today, and unity is the only way to change the region's trajectory.
In western Missouri, Republicans picked State Senator Rick Bratton to try to unseat Democratic Representative Emmanuel Cleaver in the dramatically reshaped district. Ann Wagner will face Fred Wellman in West County.
Missourians delivered a double rejection to state Republicans, voting down both Amendments 4 and 5 by absolutely massive margins.
4 would have raised the threshold for amendments coming from the citizens, and 5 would have eliminated the state income tax.
The people spoke loud and clear about Amendments 4 and 5.
It's another example of Missourians voting against what their legislators put before them, or to pass something that legislators would not act on. Scott Charton with the Missouri Association of Realtors says state lawmakers need to start paying attention.
You know, we're not celebrating this as a partisan victory for anybody, or it's really not a defeat for any individual or an institution. The winners are the people of Missouri, and the people of Missouri spoke, and I'm hearing them loud and clear, and let's hope the politicians in Jeff City are hearing them.
He says the realtors want to help to come up with a plan for economic growth and housing affordability in Missouri. On the rejection of 5, Governor Kehoe adds in a statement, quote, "I remain committed to working with the General Assembly in the years ahead on ways to continue cutting taxes, growing our state's economy, and pursuing conservative policies that help Missouri families keep more of what they earn." Missouri Promise PAC in a statement says, quote, "Governor Kehoe deserves credit for thinking big." Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
In St. Louis County, voters for the second time rejected a use tax or a sales tax on purchases made online. The county council said prior to the election that if it failed, they'd simply put the measure back before voters a third time.
Melissa Price Smith, current St. Louis County prosecutor, wins her primary. Paul Berry is the Republican who will face Democratic Congressman Wesley Bell. Shane Cohn is the Democratic nominee for City Recorder of Deeds.
In an upset, Gina Mitten takes out incumbent Southside State Rep Steve Butts for the state Senate race. Mike Deering beats Tricia Burns for Republican State Senate for Lincoln County. Incumbents from Rita Days to Mike Elam won re-election in area county council races, and it will be Tim Whitney versus David Frank for Jefferson County Executive.
Traffic and weather next. It's 7:07.
Listen up. If you have not paid self-employment, business, or individual taxes in years, the IRS will find you. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. I offer real solutions. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call me, Lance Story, today and let me get between you and the IRS. I'll protect your rights, including your right to appeal or even your right to take the IRS to tax court. At the Lance Story Law Firm, our practice is focused 100% on fighting the IRS. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Story Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis. Call 314-260-6120 or visit LanceDruryLaw.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm in the air conditioning business. I don't advertise that much. I was leaving a customer's home and I was out in Illinois, and as I was driving away, my fan for my air conditioner went out. I had to cross back over into St. Louis where there was bridge construction, so massive rush hour, backed up traffic, windows down, sweating. I had to take it straight to the dealership to drop it off because there's no way I can function, much less work, without air conditioning in my truck. And I'm the same way in my house, and every homeowner, not every homeowner, but most homeowners are the exact same way. So if you're experiencing difficulties with your air conditioner, meaning you have none, call me. Bart Inman, and it's one easy number, Missouri and Illinois. 314-293-2600. Again, Bart Inman, 314-293-2600, Missouri and Illinois. Call me. God bless.
KMOX isn't just a news station. It's where St. Louis has the conversation. The conversations happening around kitchen tables, in offices, at the ballpark, and across our neighborhoods. The things we celebrate, the things we debate, the things that matter. We're talking about you. 104.1 FM, KMOX. Join the conversation. Everyone's welcome. This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
Hey, let's take a look at traffic and weather. It is 7:10. It's a sunny start to the day. Roger Brand has the latest on your ride in from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Debbie, I mentioned at the top of the hour about a backup, the only interstate backup we had on the Missouri side, South 270. They just cleared. The trucks are just leaving, so I can't tell if it was just... They look like they're trucks with barrels, so it could have been overnight work that was still out there. But anyway, it was in the left lane, South 270 before Olive, but it looks like that left lane is now open. Traffic still bogged down back past 364 on South 270 at this time. Southbound 61, Wentworth Parkway down to 70. That's a little slow at this point in time. North 55 is cleared out, approaching 270. North 270 still looks great. I'm still seeing delays. In fact, it looks like more of a jam now. Westbound on Highway N, approaching Shaper Road, east of Highway T, out south of Forestell. That westbound lane was shut down due to an injury crash, so eastbound slow. They're directing traffic through that area, it looks like. And on the Illinois side, it's not bad. Just a little heavy traffic on eastbound 5570 approaching 111 in the construction zone right now. Next update at 7:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Let's check in with AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg as we have some rain on the way.
KMOX AccuWeather, intervals of clouds and sun, rather hot and humid today. Watch out for a heavy thunderstorm later this afternoon that can produce localized damaging wind gusts to high 91. And tonight, partly to mostly cloudy and humid with a couple of showers and a heavy thunderstorm that can again produce flooding downpours and damaging winds, the low 73. Tomorrow we'll start out with rain and a thunderstorm that can lead to flooding on streets and highways, and mostly cloudy and humid tomorrow afternoon with a stray thunderstorm. Tomorrow's high 83. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Right now we have a mostly clear sky, 69 degrees downtown at the Arch.
Legal drama among Alton city leaders. That's the topic of tonight's City Council special meeting that comes after the mayor, David Goins, got a temporary restraining order to block the City Council from removing two of his appointees. The agenda includes a closed session for the council to discuss pending litigation, followed by an open session where possible action and the response will be covered.
The meeting is set for 6 tonight at Alton City Hall. KMOX has reached out to Mayor Goins but has not heard back.
People have been waiting for months for a ruling on the referendum challenging Missouri's Republican redistricting. Secretary of State Denny Hoskins made that ruling on Election Day yesterday at 4 p.m.
At issue is not the number of signatures turned into the challenge, the new congressional map, but the fact that the referendum itself is null and void by virtue of the fact that it is unconstitutional. Therefore, House Bill 1, the Missouri First Map, continues to be the law of the land.
Hoskins refused to answer reporters' questions as to why he ruled the referendum on redistricting unconstitutional instead of determining if the signatures were valid. Hoskins was also asked why he waited until Election Day to make that decision.
We have an Attorney General opinion now that also confirms my belief that it is unconstitutional, and so we wanted to let this process play out.
Proponents of the referendum accusing Hoskins of trying to stall this until the November election.
I would say the deadline for me to certify those signatures is Tuesday, August 4th of 2026. So I have met my statutory deadline as well as my constitutional deadline.
Hoskins says he is confident in the Attorney General's legal team if he faces a court challenge.
More on a story we first brought you yesterday. So-called surveillance pricing isn't limited to just shopping. It's already affecting people using ride-hailing platforms. During a hearing on corporate artificial intelligence practices, Senator Josh Hawley of Missouri targeted variable pricing algorithms.
He pulled out data that shows ride-sharing apps are charging wildly different rates to Missouri passengers taking identical trips.
They're going to figure out how they can rip you off one person at a time. They're not going to charge you the same fare they charge your neighbor. They're not going to charge you the same fare as the guy sitting next to you in the seat. And it's not just going to be them. It's going to be the grocery stores and everybody else until we figure out how to bring transparency, how to bring honesty, and some protections for the American consumer.
Hawley says Lyft charged 55 Missouri riders 29 different prices for the exact same route at the same time. Trade groups, though, argue dynamic pricing helps companies offer personalized discounts and respond to real-time market demand.
Now, KMOX Sports from the St. Luke's Hospital Sports Desk. St. Luke's, St. Louis's #1 heart hospital.
Cut of the game sponsored by The Diamond Shop, thediamondshop.net. Let's start our coverage with John Rooney.
With Mike Claiborne, I'm John Rooney. And in New York last night at Yankee Stadium, home runs by Jazz Chisholm Jr. and George Lombard Jr. in his Major League debut, his second big league at bat. And the Yankees used those to shut out the Cardinals 2-0.
I thought Hunter Dobbins gave the Cardinals a chance last night. He had a quality start, but the two mistakes he made cost the Cardinals because the Cardinals didn't score. I mean, that's the other thing. They didn't score. They had the opportunities, had more hits than the Yankees, but at the end of the night, they just came up short.
You're right, Claves. The Cardinals went 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position. The Yankees didn't get a hit with a runner in scoring position. Caleb Ferguson looked good out of the bullpen as he made his Cardinal debut.
What a welcome addition, another lefty to go along with Justin Brule, and that really gives the Cardinals a little bit more punch from the left side, and they really need it at this point.
So tonight, the end of the road trip, the rubber game in the 3-game series. It'll be Andre Palante after his 12th win against Will Warren. Bear time 5:10. Mike Claiborne has the lineups at 5:55. I'll bring you the first pitch at 6:05 Central.
President of Baseball Operations Chaim Bloom visited the booth yesterday. We'll play some of his comments for you at 7:45, including a glowing review of outfielder Alexander Frias, the 18-year-old that the Cardinals received in the Brewers trade, sending Dustin May and JoJo Romero north. They also picked up an outfielder, Josiah Ragsdale, that he speaks very highly of. Also yesterday, Joe Buck made a comment on X. That was on Monday night after Michael McGreevy was pulled after 4 1/3 innings and 91 pitches. He said, so what is it? The Cardinals just sold at the deadline. Good. And now, after a 2-run homer, they lead 6-2 in the 5th. And just because there are lefties coming up, they don't want to see if McGreevy can get through at least 5 innings up 4. How do they learn or grow? Ollie Marmol responded to that on the Gas House Gang on KMOX.
I appreciate the take. I really do. I've gotten to talk to Joe quite a bit over the years, and I like him a lot, man. And his take is valid. There's a time to let these guys experience it, and there's a time to. There's many different variables to it: health, pitch count, stress innings. Are they on a 5-day sick? All of it. How we know we're not going to be able to push the guys into a 6-day with Quinn, knowing that we're getting Ferguson. There's a lot of different things that go into it that allow us to make that decision. So his take in a vacuum is 100% correct. That's why I got no issues with it.
Buck responded last night saying my take had zero to do with Ollie and was more about where the game is today. I appreciate him. He's been a fantastic manager and made the most out of what he's had to work with over the years. Buck went on to say, I'm old and a get off my lawn guy now. It's all good. The Gas House Gang airs every day at noon during the week, and today Chris Ranji and I will be joined by St. Louis Police Chief Robert Tracy, who is a big Yankees fan, annual tradition that we get together with him during the Cards-Yankees series. I'm Tom Ackerman on the home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM KMOX. Coming up also in a half hour, the college football coaches poll is out. Missouri's in it. We'll tell you where.
Giddy up! It's the Cardinal Cowboy. Don't let garage door problems bench your summer plans. From repairs, tune-ups, and replacements, Renner Garage Door hits a grand slam every time. Score a free repair or replacement quote today, plus $100 off a new garage door. Featuring trusted brands like Delden, Amar, and LiftMaster, Renner delivers the quality, reliability, and performance your home can count on. RennerDoorSTL.com. Forward and back.
RENNER, RENNER.
I was thinking the other day when I was at the Missouri Athletic Club for lunch, how many ways do I use the club? I mean, it's a bigger part of my life sometimes than I realize. I have, as I said, lunch there. Sometimes I'll jump over there for breakfast. We've had some memorable dinners at the Missouri Athletic Club, both downtown and the MAC West, and now open the MAC Clayton. It's also a place where I can work out, where I can rest and relax. It's a place where I can unwind, swim at the MAC pool, play a variety of sports, host events, attend events. I mean, need I go on? The Missouri Athletic Club does it all. In fact, when I was in New York recently, I stayed at the New York Athletic Club because they're a reciprocal of the Missouri Athletic Club, and had a very nice stay on my way to Cooperstown from New York City. The Missouri Athletic Club provides a lot for our members and guests. They create memorable experiences that last a lifetime, and they are a big part of our lives for sure. mac-stl.org.
Summer is officially here, and that means the family internet, it is working overtime. All our lives are always online, and that's why I rely on i3 Broadband. Traditional cable just can't keep up, but i3 delivers 100% true fiber directly into my home for ultra-smooth, reliable performance. Plus, they're a local provider that actually treats you like a neighbor. Skip the fake fiber. Head over to i3broadband.com/radio today or call 866-806-5485 to upgrade, because life runs better on fiber, and i3 Broadband is here for you.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It's going on 721. Here is Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, South 270 is improving, Debbie. There's just a little slow traffic passing 364 now. We had an incident in the left lane earlier. They got it picked up and out of there, but still just a little leftover volume. North 270, that's just a little slow north of Sappington up toward Gravois. Tesson Ferry near 270. They're reporting a minor crash. Traffic just looks normally heavy through there right now. Eastbound 30, Mauer to 270, just kind of slow coming up the hill. Out to the west, seeing a little delay on eastbound 64 coming through 94. Eastbound Highway 70, east of the Wayscales into David Hochul Parkway, looks a little heavy. Still seeing a jam westbound N at Shaper Road, east of Highway T, south of Forestell, due to an injury crash. They're still on the scene, obviously working that. Westbound 64, past the 70 split, kind of heavy. Eastbound 5570, delays between 203 and 111 currently due to road work. Next update at 7:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg says we have thunderstorms in our forecast. Starting with this afternoon, a heavy thunderstorm could produce localized damaging wind gusts. A high of 91, says Joe. And then tonight, we're being put on a flood watch starting at 10 because of a couple of showers and a heavy thunderstorm, and rain and a thunderstorm tomorrow morning. Low tonight of 73, a high tomorrow of 83 with humidity. Right now it's 70 in downtown St. Louis.
722. How many hours until your children wake up? Families prepare for the new school year. Many children and teens facing a major shift in their sleep schedules. KMOX health editor Fred Bottomer talked about it with Dr. Benjamin Kay, a pediatric neurologist at Washington University Medicine.
We know that studying and homework are really important for school. Sleep is an important part of learning as well. In fact, your brain learns things while it's sleeping. It uses that time to consolidate memories and things that you've learned during the day. So parents need to know how important sleep is and how important the transition can be from sort of that free-for-all summer sleep schedule to whatever schedule your school system has imposed on your child.
So what are some common misconceptions parents and families have about how much sleep children actually need?
I mean, I think the biggest misconception is exactly what you said, Fred, how much sleep. A lot of adults have been told that they need 8 hours of sleep, maybe 7 to 8, maybe 6 to 8, and so they sort of apply that same guideline to their children. But teenagers' brains are still developing. They're still growing. They're actually really different from adult brains, and they need more sleep. So the American Academy of Pediatrics recommends that children 13 to 18 years old get 8 to 10 hours of sleep. So 8 would really be the low end of that range. For slightly younger children, the recommendation goes closer to 9 to 11 or even 9 to 12 hours of sleep. So the biggest misconception I get is just how much sleep kids actually need.
So let's talk about some practical strategies that parents can use to help their kids transition back to a school year sleep schedule. What should they do?
would say one, if you can, maybe get started a week early, right? I mean, there's a lot going on when school starts, a lot of different stressors that come in. So if you can start moving that sleep schedule back to whatever it's going to have to be when school is in session, maybe during the last week of vacation, that would be ideal. And, while that may sound like a drag, you can also make it fun and have sort of family bedtime routines, or movie night that you move up in time to kind of reestablish that rhythm for children.
What are delayed sleep schedules?
That's a great question. So one of the technical terms we throw around is a delayed chronotype. And that just means someone who stays up late, like a night owl. You stay up late, and then because your body does need that sleep, you're going to sleep in late the next day. And you can usually get away with that during summer vacation. I know when I was a teenager, I probably slept in till 10 or 11 in the morning, maybe even later than that. But unfortunately, most schools, especially high schools, tend to start early. I have patients who need to wake up at 5 or 6 in the morning in order to go to school. And so that means that they're also going to have to go to bed earlier to get the recommended amount of sleep.
Where do you come down with the movement to change to one standard time year round, and how might that affect kids?
Oh my gosh, I feel like this question comes up all the time. I'm wondering when they're actually going to do it. I mean, yeah, there's really two debates going on. One is, every year in the fall, we move the clocks back. In the summer or in the spring, they spring forward. And in the summer, we get kind of a little more daylight in the evening. In the winter, we get a little more daylight in the morning. So one part of the debate is just like, should we be doing that? Because I don't know about you, but especially for the spring forward clock, I always feel like really bad that week, like I didn't get enough sleep. And that, studies show that it actually causes a lot of disrupted learning that week in school. So like, do we really need to mess with the clocks at all? The other thing I think you're bringing up is if we do just set the clocks to just one of those times, which one should we do? Should it be the standard time that we have in the winter, or should it be the daylight savings time with the extra hour of sunlight in the evening that we have in the summer?
And what do you think?
I mean, kind of a personal preference, but I and several physician groups prefer the time we have in the winter. I know it's kind of a bummer for some people because we associate that with shorter days, but actually days would be the same length in the summer. It's just the time that the sun set would be a little bit earlier in the summer than the way we have it now. I think that's really ideal for children because children and teenagers especially, they have that delayed chronotype we're talking about. They're night owls. They want to stay up late. And when the sun is setting so late in the day, that's just hard for them to get sleepy. If we made the sun set a little earlier, then it's a little bit easier for their bodies to go to sleep at a time that's conducive for them to be up in time for school the next day.
That is Dr. Benjamin Kay, a pediatric neurologist at WashU Medicine.
It's 7:27. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
JerryKelly.com. Well, I do hear people say when it comes to estate plans, I have one, I think, or we did that years ago. We've been meaning to look at it again. Honestly, that's the problem. Estate plans are not supposed to be one and done. My family's been clients of the Laderman Law Firm for more than 2 decades, and what I've learned is that most plans don't fail because people don't care. They fail because life changes, and the plan doesn't keep up. At the Laderman Law Firm, an estate plan isn't just paperwork. An estate plan is an ongoing process. They build your estate plan to protect your family and your property, and then they actually help maintain it. So it stays aligned with changes in your life, your assets, and the law. And that's a big reason why we've stayed with them all these years. They're called the Laderman Law Firm. They are excellent. And if you're in the St. Louis metro area, including Illinois, and you want an estate plan that actually works, call them at 314-514-9100. The Laderman Law Firm. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
Don's Garage Doors has been serving families since 1998, and now we're bringing that same great experience to the Lou. We take pride in having a neighbor-first approach to doing business with local technicians who are your neighbors. Don's Garage Doors is new to the area, but we're not new to working extra hard to earn customer trust, one garage door at a time. From repairs to upgrades, call Don's Garage Doors.
Don's Garage Doors, Don's Garage Doors. When
When it comes to garage doors, no one knows more.
When pain starts to slow you down, BJC Healthcare and WashU Medicine orthopedic specialists are here to help. Nationally recognized leaders in orthopedics deliver care that's informed by research and personalized for you. From everyday aches to complex injuries and recovery, we're here to help you get back to doing what you love. Find an orthopedic specialist today. Visit bjc.org/orthopedics or call 314-362-9355.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance. And now we're customizing this ad for your morning commute to wake you up, which could help your driving. Science says that stimulating the brain increases alertness. So here's a pop quiz. How many months have 28 days? What gets wetter as it dries? What has keys but can't open locks? If you don't want to hear the answers, turn off this Liberty Mutual ad now. 12 months, a towel, piano. Enjoy being fully alert.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
What do parents think of back to school at Staples, where 24-pack Crayola crayons are just 50 cents?
Staples has folders, notebooks, and pens at great prices.
I'm smiling from ear to ear. It's the most wonderful time.
Mom, I missed the bus of the year.
It's a wonderful time at Staples, where school supplies start at just 25 cents. Staples.
That was easy.
Visit your local Staples today or shop online and in the app. Ends 9/12. Exclusions apply.
It is 7:30, and we have sun and a few clouds at 70 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we have a couple delays out west. Southbound 61 sounds like we have a minor crash just before you get down to 70 and 64. Southbound 61 just backed up at Wentzville Parkway right now, but we'll keep tabs on that for you, obviously. Eastbound 74 Stell in toward David Hochul Parkway, congestion running through there. Still seeing delays on N at Shaper Road, east of Highway T, just south of the Forestell area. That's an injury crash from earlier. There's still working to get wrapped up. Northbound 270 heavy up the hill from Doherty Ferry to Manchester. Eastbound Highway 30 Mauer to 270 slow. Tesson Ferry a little backed up coming through Schussler. Eastbound 64 just slow at a couple of spots. They're reporting tire debris in the roadway near Research Park across the traffic lane, so that's slowing traffic briefly there. Then there's just some heavy traffic from 170 into Big Bend. And on the Illinois side, westbound 64 Baugh Avenue to the 70 split in 3rd Street to the Poplars heavy. Eastbound 5570 slow from 203 through 111. Next update is 740 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It is going to be a interesting day today. Clouds and sun, hot and humid with a high of 91. Now, we could see a heavy thunderstorm later this afternoon that could be strong with damaging wind gusts. And tonight as well, we could see a couple of showers and a heavy thunderstorm. Tomorrow, that thunderstorm holds over in the morning. We could see some flooding in time for the morning commute. Otherwise, the rest of the day tomorrow, just mostly cloudy and humid with a stray thunderstorm in the afternoon. Tomorrow's high 83. Again, today's high is 91. It's 70 out there now.
It's 7:32. A 15-year-old is accused of killing a man dressed as a clown. Police are asking for additional evidence.
Looking for you.
What you're hearing is Ring doorbell footage of a teenage boy dressed in a black and red clown costume with his face covered, creeping up the porch of an East St. Louis home Monday evening and whispering something into the camera before sneaking towards the garage and out of view. Now, Illinois State Police are accusing the unidentified 15-year-old of killing a person. At 10 o'clock, around an hour after the Ring footage, East St. Louis police responded to the area of 76th and State Street to a body found. The teenager was quickly identified as the suspect and taken into custody. The Illinois State Police are asking anyone who may have additional video footage of the teenager to make it available to them. No further details about the victim or the matter that they were killed have been provided. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
The 73-year-old man accused of shooting and killing a mother and daughter in their House Springs home last month has died. According to the Jefferson County Sheriff, Robert Winkleman shot himself in the head when deputies approached him after he shot the two women. Winkleman died Sunday at a hospital.
First responder training is taking place this month and next statewide. Missouri Homeland Security Director Kylie Dicknight says sessions will stress critical strategies for major incidents.
What it means to establish command and what it means to have unified command and what that really looks like
during an incident whenever time is of the essence and stress is very, very high.
She tells MissouriNet the goals are to share the latest techniques for stopping a threat, such as a shooting, treating the injured, and evacuating those in danger.
The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. It is 7:34, and your Money Minute from Bloomberg is coming up right after this.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Imagine every time your business makes a sale. Inventory updates, an invoice is created, customer records are updated, accounting stays current. That's the power of Odoo. One fully integrated platform where every part of your business works together, automating tasks, eliminating extra steps, and saving you valuable time. Everything connects. Everything works. Try Odoo free at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
It's time for your Money Minute, and it's sponsored this hour by Busey Bank.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Shares of Advanced Micro Devices tumbling in early trading after giving an underwhelming sales outlook. Investors expecting more of a return from the global expansion of artificial intelligence data centers. AMD stock has more than doubled this year after the company emerged as a key contender to NVIDIA in artificial intelligence processors. Despite the pullback in AMD shares, stocks overall are heading for a higher open. S&P and Dow futures are on the rise. President Trump says a deal on the Strait of Hormuz is possible as early as today. Expectations are building for reopening of the crucial waterway. And dating app giant Match's turnaround efforts are still a work in progress. The owner of OkCupid and Hinge gave a quarterly revenue outlook that fell just short of Wall Street forecasts, signaling it has work to do in winning back younger daters. Tinder remains its biggest challenge, but the app is close to its first year-over-year user growth in more than 3 years. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
This is the Let's Revitalize Our Neighborhoods commitment. This is the Roll Up Our Sleeves and Pitch In commitment. This is Busey, where our commitment to strengthen our communities is a top priority. Through energetic, engaged volunteers, through monetary support, community leadership, and advocacy. Because Busey is more than a bank that does well, we're a bank that does good. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth, since 1868. Member FDIC.
Give the gift of a magical experience at St. Louis Union Station when you take a real train ride journey to the North Pole aboard the Polar Express. Meet Santa and experience the magic of the Polar Express story with hot chocolate, treats, music, and sing-alongs. For those that truly believe in the spirit of Christmas, head down to St. Louis Union Station this year. Book your golden ticket before they sell out at stlpolarexpressride.com.
Every step matters. That's why Steve All and the entire team at the All Financial Group have signed up to walk and fundraise for the St. Jude Walk on September 12th. St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital is leading the way the world understands, treats, and defeats childhood cancer. And here's what makes them truly remarkable. Families never receive a bill from St. Jude, so parents can focus on one thing, and one thing only, their child. We want you to be a part of this. You can join our team and walk with us on September 12th or simply make a donation. And here's the good news. Steve will personally match every dollar you give up to $1,000. To donate or to register to walk with the All Financial Group, visit steveall.com. That's Steve, AUL.com. Or call 636-230-8824 for more information. Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, a registered investment advisor. All Financial Group LLC is not affiliated with St. Jude's Research Hospital and does not accept or collect donations on their behalf.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, you're not alone. Most importantly, you don't have to live with it. Paramount Men's Medical Center restores men's sex lives in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, even when Viagra and Cialis don't work. Here's Dr. Simovitz, specialist in men's health.
Paramount Men's Medical Center's painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. 98% of patients see instant results right in the office.
Men are now lasting longer than they ever imagined. And the best part, at Paramount Men's Medical Center, your consultation and first treatment are free. Qualified patients even get their testosterone checked free. Call 314-720-8444. 314-720-8444. Take control of your sex life. Call now. 314-720-8444.
Today, the Cards, the Yankees.
Emron Total Access 510. First pitch 6:05.
Cardinals Radio. 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is 7:40. This is Total Information AM. Let's get you caught up on traffic and weather. The weather could turn quite stormy today. We'll let Joe Lundberg give you all the details on that after we check the roadways with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we've got a jam on southbound 61 right now, Debbie, because of a crash before you get onto 64 and 70. This traffic reports the service of Financial and Tax Strategies, so the delays go about midway back between Flint Hill, Highway P, and Wentzville Parkway. A solid jam at the south end of that, obviously. Eastbound 74 still into David Hokel Parkway. There's heavy traffic. N at Shaper Road, east of Highway T, still seeing delays from an earlier crash. A little backup, eastbound 364 passing Highway K. Eastbound to 64, McKnight through the Interbelt's heavy. It looks like we have an incident westbound 64 west of McKnight. It's slow through the city limits and then slow McKnight out about midway to Clayton Warson because of it. Southbound 170 delays at the Parkway. Northbound 270 a little slow down at Gravois, then 44 up to Manchester and around Clayton Road some slower traffic. 30 Mauer up the hill to 270 busy. Tesson Ferry Chusler looks heavy. Southbound 55 approaching Revis a little slow on the Illinois side. 64 25th Street across the Poplars heavy. Eastbound 5570 203 to 111 delays. Northbound 255 north of Horseshoe Lake Road looks heavy, and there's an incident eastbound 70 passing Grand downtown, a little back up there. Next update is 7:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Checking your retirement account every day is like weighing yourself after every salad. It usually just causes stress. Let's build a plan that you can feel confident about. Tune in to Wealth and Wisdom with Gary Goldberg, Saturdays at 7 a.m., and let us help you retire younger, richer, and with less anxiety.
AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. What is this rain you speak of, and how long will it stay around?
I think it's going to move in here late this morning in the form of a shower or thunderstorm. And then this afternoon, those thunderstorms could be a little on the frisky side, shall we say, in terms of gusty winds. Our high temperature will get to about 91, and partly to mostly cloudy tonight. It's going to be muggy with a couple of showers and a heavy thunderstorm again. It could be some gusty winds or flooding downpours. There is, by the way, a flood watch from 10 tonight through 10 a.m. tomorrow. And it looks like the worst of it will be late tonight into early tomorrow. Some rain and a thunderstorm to start today. Probably going to mess up the morning commute with some flooded streets and highways. And then mostly cloudy tomorrow afternoon, maybe a leftover shower or thunderstorm, the high just 83. And it starts to warm up and dry out Friday with clouds and sun. We'll get to 86. Slight chance of a thunderstorm. Should be dry and a little hotter Saturday with more sunshine. We get to 90, low to mid-90s with some sunshine on Sunday. 72 at St. Peter's, 74 in Florissant, 74 right now, and we're seeing some sunshine downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
All right. Thank you, Joe. It is 7:43. And while taking questions from reporters on the tarmac before heading to Las Vegas last night, President Trump said negotiations with Iran are moving along very nicely. Here he is talking with an Axios reporter that says, or a report that says the U.S. aims to announce an agreement on reopening the Strait of Hormuz.
Could happen tomorrow or the next day. A lot of progress has been made.
The confirmation of Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche to the Permanent Justice Department post advances after a 12-10 vote yesterday by the Senate Judiciary Committee. Blanche getting through after providing written assurances rescinding President Trump's so-called anti-weaponization fund. But ABC News legal contributor James Samples says that agreement doesn't rule out more lawsuits.
Individual plaintiffs are still free to pursue claims against the government. And that includes the January 6th rioters. It includes the individuals who were convicted and or pled guilty to beating Capitol Police officers. All of those individuals are still able to pursue claims. This just takes away the separate fund that would have streamlined that process for them.
A drifting SpaceX rocket on a collision course with the moon. Here's ABC's Sophie Flay.
A 5-ton piece of a SpaceX rocket was set to crash into the moon overnight. The rocket launched last year. SpaceX was not able to steer it toward the Earth. Part of it was expected to plunge into the moon and leave a new crater. Scientists say it's a unique opportunity to research the makeup of the lunar surface.
A new study finds former NFL players face a much higher risk of dying from dementia and Parkinson's disease. But what do those findings mean for high school and college athletes in Missouri? Dr. Ross Safant with the University of Missouri School of Medicine.
There is an elevated risk for those who go on to play at the highest level. It doesn't mean there's no risk at high school or no risk in college. For sure there is, but it has to do with cumulative exposure. So early life, unnecessary exposure may not have a strong yield.
Researchers found former NFL players were nearly 4 times more likely to die from neurodegenerative diseases than the general population. The study also found the risk increased with longer playing careers, suggesting repeated head impacts over time may play a role.
Now, KMOX Sports from the St. Luke's Hospital Sports Desk. St. Luke's, St. Louis's #1 heart hospital.
Ins and Outs sponsored by Innsbrook Resort, where every day is the weekend. The big news this week, the MLB trade deadline on Monday. The Cardinals made 3 different deals. Talking them through for the first time on KMOX was President of Baseball Operations Chaim Bloom last night on our Cardinal broadcast. He discussed Caleb Ferguson coming over from the Reds, and he actually pitched in the game, pitched quite well, an inning and 2/3. Cardinals lost the game 2-0 because they couldn't score any runs. They were 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position. Hunter Dobbins was very good. He's in the rotation because Dustin May is out. May was traded along with JoJo Romero to the Milwaukee Brewers, and the Cardinals picked up some very good outfielders in terms of prospect rankings in that deal. Here is Chaim Bloom.
President of Baseball Operations following the end of the trading deadline. The ball low goes 3-0. You picked up a couple of outfielders in the deal for Dustin May and JoJo Romero with Milwaukee. And let's start with Alexander Frias, an 18-year-old.
Yeah, we're super excited to add him. He's a really, really high upside prospect, and he's producing now. I mean, he's pretty much wrecked the assignments he's been given and crushed those levels. Obviously a long way away from that upside, but does have the upside to be really a frontline player at the big league level. And again, he's 18, he's in low A, so there's a long way to go to that. But to get this sort of upside, that's hard to find in a player who is presently producing, and we're excited to have him on board.
Strike 1 was called on Rice, and then strike 2 as Rice is challenging the call, feeling he had a walk. And it is ball 4 low. The first walk given up by Hunter Dobbins. The other outfielder is Josiah Ragsdale, 22 years old. And he's the number 22 prospect in the Brewers system. Tell us about him.
Yeah, we like him quite a bit. He's someone who, further along in his journey, he's a college draft who has moved through their system and really this year started to add some power to his game. Has tools on both sides of the ball. He has good hitting ability, like I said, coming into some power, has speed, can play all over the outfield, and by all accounts is a really terrific person and a terrific teammate. So we're very excited to add him. Just brings a lot of upside to help us at the big league level. Obviously, both these guys, we got to keep them growing and developing, keep refining their game. But you talk about two guys who you're not waiting for them to produce in the minor leagues. They're doing it now, and they're doing it with tools that suggest there could be more there.
That's Chaim Bloom on the broadcast last night. Cardinals also, as you know, traded Lars Nootbaar to Arizona. They received Daniel Egan, a right-handed pitcher, and Sandro Santana, a left-handed pitcher, and a player to be named in that deal. So the Cardinals get 5 prospects and a lefty reliever on Monday. They blasted the Yankees late Monday, but could not score yesterday. Again, fell in that game 2-0. St. Louis City SC has announced that the United States men's national team will be coming back to Energizer Park September 29th, a friendly against Chile. Those tickets go on sale this Friday at 10 a.m. We've been following the reported advanced negotiations between Marcel Hartl and Hannover 96, a team in Germany. We'll see if anything is concrete there and becomes official on one of City's best scorers, if not the best. This is Innsbruck. 100 lakes, 7,500 acres, homes throughout, summer vacation. Yeah, summer may be winding down, but every day is the weekend. Every day is a vacation at Innsbruck. Fall, great time of year to be heading out. You know, Missouri's number 25 in the coaches poll. Missouri's going to be good this year in college football, and it's a great time. You go to Innsbruck for a little in-between here and Columbia. That is my tip. You get a place at Innsbruck for a weekend. You go see the Tigers, and then you come back and relax at your Innsbruck home before you make your way back to St. Louis on Sunday. There, I just planned a great weekend vacation for you. Innsbruck's awesome. Innsbruck-resort.com. Innsbruck-resort.com for everything Innsbruck. You're going to absolutely love the options there at Innsbruck. Let's look at our parlay of the day. It's sponsored by Circa Sports. Sports betting the way it should be. Let's look at college football, and let's look specifically at the list of odds for the national championship. Right now, what is on the Circa Sports app is the following. You have a lot of attention on Notre Dame and Texas. They are the favorites at plus 650 apiece. I can't argue with them as being a favorite. I don't see either of them winning the national championship, though. Ohio State could have something to say about it at plus 725. Oregon's plus 725. Miami's plus 800. Georgia could absolutely be a player this year. SEC is going to get one at some point. They're plus 950. That's Georgia we're talking about. Indiana, the defending national champion. It's hard to do it back-to-back, but certainly they'll be a player at plus 1250. I still think Texas A&M at plus 3,200 is a huge number. Parlay of the day sponsored by Circa Sports. Sports betting the way it should be.
America is turning 250 this year, and Circa Sports is celebrating by offering all users in Missouri $250. For everyone in Missouri, all you have to do is deposit $250 on your Circa Sports app, then play through that deposit. Once you do, Circa Sports will reward you with $250 right in your account. This is available for everyone in Missouri, new and existing users. Celebrate 250 years and find out more at circasports.com today. Must be 21 or older and in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
St. Louis, are you ready to rock? AC/DC is bringing the Power Up Tour to the Dome at America's Center Tuesday, September 8th. Hear legendary hits like Back in Black, Thunderstruck, and Highway to Hell, performed live by one of the greatest rock bands of all time. Don't wait on tickets. They're still available at Ticketmaster.com. AC/DC, the Power Up Tour, Tuesday, September 8th. For more information, go to KMOX.com/events.
Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM KMOX. Debbie Monterey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman. Total Information AM on 104.1 FM KMOX.
7:52 and time for Roger Brand to tell us more from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Debbie, they're still working the crash. We have southbound 61 just before you get to Highway 70. So now it is a solid jam from Highway P all the way down to that crash. There is a lane block there. Eastbound 70, a little slow at Wentzville Parkway, a little slow around Earth City, and there's a brief slowdown around O'Fallon Park. That incident we had around Grand obviously has been cleared, so it's just volume pushing through that area now. North 270, 44 up through Clayton Road's kind of busy. Eastbound 64, McKnight to Big Bend's heavy. South 170, a couple slowdowns. Delmar to 64, westbound 64, Hampton to Hanley, the heaviest part there. And on the Illinois side, westbound 64 approaching 25th Street, heavy through across the Poplar, and eastbound 5570 delays east of 203 to 111. Next update is 7:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We do have thunderstorms in the forecast. Roger, Joe Lundberg says this afternoon, tonight, and tomorrow morning. Therefore, a flood watch in effect at 10 o'clock tonight, and humid conditions with a high of 91 today and 83 tomorrow. It's 70 right now.
The historic Virginia Theater in South City, built in 1910 for August Bush, has been vacant for years. The city's Land Reutilization Authority approved spending $115,000 in federal funds to stabilize the Dutchtown property that was once a Warenberg theater. The city will also use $500,000 in ARPA funds for improvements at a new maintenance operations center on Martin Luther King Drive.
Panera Bread bakes in the location for its new corporate headquarters as it prepares to leave the St. Louis area. According to the Boston Business Journal, the fast casual chain signed a 12-year lease for a 102,000 square foot office building in the Boston suburb of Weston. The new facility will replace Panera's current corporate headquarters in Fenton, though the company plans to maintain a support center in St. Louis. Panera plans to complete the relocation next year.
New help for Illinoisans who've seen sharp increases in their auto insurance premiums. A new law gives the state insurance department review authority over hikes in homeowner and auto policies. Department of Insurance Director Ann Gillespie says the new law comes at a time many are dealing with inflation.
While no state legislation can fully eliminate these impacts to insurance premiums, these bills today hold insurance companies accountable for addressing their cost increases.
Governor Pritzker says he pushed for the bill after State Farm hiked homeowner premiums by 27%.
Close to 10 million Americans are currently in default on their student loans. Here's Haley Hansen with Illinois' numbers.
Data suggests more than 18% of Illinois borrowers are currently in default on federal student loans, meaning they've missed payments for over 270 days.
Some of it is people don't have the money. Some of it is logistical, and it's like the right hand is not talking to the left hand. And for all these reasons, we're seeing millions of people in default.
Ted Rossman is a principal consumer finance analyst at the nonprofit credit council organization Money Management International.
Well, there can definitely be substantial credit score damage. I mean, I've seen research that for a lot of these people, their credit score is being dinged by 100 points or sometimes even more.
His advice is to speak up as soon as you realize you're in trouble.
Governor Pritzker says allegations of sexual harassment by a former state rep reveal the need for a major change in Springfield. It's in the wake of the resignation of former state representative Harry Benton and how aware House Speaker Emanuel Chris Welch was of the allegations. Governor Pritzker says his focus is on protecting the victims of sexual harassment.
What I want to know is how are we going to fix the system? Because it shouldn't be, in my view, months or years before we have employees who work for state representatives or state Senate members who don't know exactly what the procedure is, exactly who to report to, and how to get justice.
Governor Pritzker says Welch's future in Springfield is undetermined.
It's 7:56.
Your morning news and information. Total Information AM.
Selling a home is not as easy as it seems. I know a lot of people think, well, you just plant a sign in the yard and then you sit back and wait. Some agents may do that, and you may find the results are not that great. If you'd like to sell your home quickly and for the most money, agent selection matters, and I highly recommend you call Gloria Liu. Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. She will sell your home faster and for more money than the average agent. And she has more than 20 years of experience in real estate. She and her team don't just sell a few homes or a few dozen homes. They sell hundreds of homes a year. That's how she can be confident that she'll sell your home. She knows she will, or she'll buy it herself, and she'll put that guarantee in writing. By the way, if you would like to join a winning team, Gloria is looking to grow her team. So if you're looking to level up a real estate career, she's hiring motivated inside sales and listing agents right now. The number to call, whether you want her to sell your house or you'd like to help her sell a house, 314-325-6888, 314-325-6888, or find her online now at gloriahasthebuyers.com.
At Uline, they know firsthand the road to success is an uphill climb. Uline started in the family basement, and through hard work is now North America's most trusted shipping and industrial supplier. They get what it means to have the support of reliable, hard-working partners. So they keep 41,000 items ready to ship. Whether your company is still in a basement office or expanding cross-country, Uline will be there on your road to success. Visit uline.com.
Now at Lowe's, faster quotes start at the Lowe's Pro Desk.
Got a material list handwritten on a sticky note or saved as a photo? Perfect. Bring it to us and get a quote in minutes. And if you don't see what you need on the shelf, we'll help you get it. You can access thousands of products beyond what's available in-store or on Lowe's.com, right from the Lowe's Pro Desk. Build quotes faster and source the materials you need to keep your jobs moving. Just like that, at Lowe's.
For the last 33 years, you've discovered that at Banner Construction, we pride ourselves on quality craftsmanship. We believe the single most important decision homeowners must make when considering an exterior restoration project is, who do you hire? At Banner, we provide well-engineered, meaningful, long-term solutions to transform your home into the pride of the neighborhood. Let us help you fall in love with your home all over again. Call 314-569-1050 or visit bannerconstruction.com and have a banner day.
Here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Tom, it looks like they cleared that crash southbound 61 before you get down to 64 and 70. It's opening up at the front end, but it's still a jam from Highway P most of the way down to Wentzville Parkway on southbound 61 currently. Eastbound 70, a brief delay at Wentzville Parkway. Heavy traffic from the Blanchette Bridge into Earth City. It's still a little slow around O'Fallon Park from an earlier incident we had closer to Grand. If you're on eastbound 64, that's still heavy approaching 170 to Big Bend. Westbound 64, Hampton all the way to Hanley. Slow south 170 delays at the Parkway. Northbound 270 approaching Big Bend up through Clayton Road is the busiest stretch. Next update at 8:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. Still a super tight race in Michigan. 95% of the votes counted in the Democratic Senate primary, and Congresswoman Haley Stevens is trailing progressive Dr. Abdul Al-Sayed by about 1%. Speaking last night, he said,
"We didn't know that they were going to outspend us $11 to $1. And yet we're still standing."
And this morning, believing he will be standing on Election Day in November, declaring publicly that he's won. Still waiting for a possible deal to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. President Trump has said it could be announced as soon as today. A former aide to the president, Ohio Republican Congressman Max Miller, vowing he's not leaving his reelection race despite allegations that he abused his ex-wife and their daughter. Miller's ex is the daughter of Ohio Senator Bernie Moreno. He is calling for Miller to resign. This is ABC News. Federal officials tell ABC News they now fear as many as a dozen states may have had water and wastewater utilities compromised by cyber attacks that could be coming from Iran. ABC Chief Investigative Reporter Josh Margolin with more.
We know that American intelligence has been clear that their fear is that an attack, a military attack on Iran, as we've done, would lead to a military response, but also lead to a cyber response, because Iran, as what's been called a state sponsor of terror, and as a smaller country that would want to hurt the United States, a bigger country with a bigger military, that they would engage in what's called asymmetrical warfare.
New legal fight on behalf of Amazon livery drivers who are suing. They say they deliver far more packages but make far less money than those who drive for the Postal Service and UPS and FedEx. Amazon recently surpassed the Postal Service to become the largest delivery provider in the country. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
At 8:02, we have sunny skies, 78 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Megan Lynch. Today is Wednesday, August 5th. A 15-year-old accused of killing a man dressed as a clown. Police asking for additional evidence.
I'm looking for you.
What you're hearing is Ring doorbell footage of a teenage boy dressed in a black and red clown costume with his face covered, creeping up the porch of an East St. Louis home Monday evening and whispering something into the camera before sneaking towards the garage and out of view. Now, Illinois State Police are accusing the unidentified 15-year-old of killing a person. At 10 o'clock, around an hour after the Ring footage, East St. Louis police responded to the area of 76th and State Street to a body found. The teenager was quickly identified as the suspect and taken into custody. The Illinois State Police are asking anyone who may have additional video footage of the teenager to make it available to them. No further details about the victim or the matter that they were killed have been provided. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Missouri voters overwhelmingly reject two major constitutional ballot measures pushed by Republicans. KMOX's Michael Calhoun has that part of the story.
Voters said no to Amendment 4, which sought to make future citizen-led constitutional amendments harder to pass, as well as to Amendment 5, which aimed to eliminate the state income tax. Scott Charton, spokesperson for the Missouri Association of Realtors, tells KMOX the blowouts send an unmistakable signal.
It's remarkable that the people have spoken so overwhelmingly, so loudly, so clearly. It is beyond dispute that Amendments 4 and 5 have been soundly rejected, and I hope they are buried so deep in the rejection of our citizens that they never come back.
The Realtors Association helped to mobilize a statewide coalition against the measures, arguing that taking down constitutional safeguards would open the door to Missourians potentially paying even higher taxes. Missouri Promise PAC, which campaigned for the tax change, did not make anybody available for an interview, but sent KMOX a statement that says, quote, "While we are disappointed by the result, our commitment to lowering taxes for Missouri families and strengthening our state's economy remains unchanged. Governor Kehoe deserves credit for thinking big, and we will continue to work alongside him to reduce the tax burden on hardworking Missourians and advance policies that help our state grow and prosper." Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Congressman Wesley Bell closer to keeping his seat. He won the Democratic primary rematch in the city and county against former Congresswoman Cori Bush. Bell sounded a reconciliatory note at his victory party.
The vision that I see for this place is a magnificent vision. When we think about all of the division that we hear, I think it is important that we focus on what this place can be.
Bush, meantime, told her supporters that St. Louis lost in the election. Bell will take on Republican Paul Berry III and Libertarian Tom Schmitz in the general election. Elsewhere, Ann Wagner won the Republican nomination in the 2nd Congressional District. The incumbent will face Democrat Fred Wellman in November.
We got the final count because some of the people here, I know, they're not used to staying out this late.
St. Charles County Executive Steve Ellman, quick to make a joke, but serious about seeking re-election if Bill Eigel got into the race. Ellman tells Maria Kina that's essentially why he decided not to retire.
You have not heard from him yet, Eigel?
Not yet. No, and
do you expect to?
I don't know. You know, a recent thing, he basically suggested that I was running against him for personal reasons, and I have nothing against Bill Eigel, the person. It's just the tactics that he used while he was in the Senate, and the fear that he would use the same sort of tactics in this office. And of course, the Senate, you know, you can filibuster and kill bills. In this position, you got to get things done.
Ellman says you can't just kill bad bills. You need to pass good bills, and to do that, you need to work with the 7-member council to build roads. You have to work with the State Highway Commission, the Roads Board, and all the mayors, something Ellman believes Bill Eigel would not have been able to do. Maria Akita, KMOX News.
St. Louis County has its ballot set for this year's county executive race.
I'm Ivy Lyons in Clayton, where after hours of waiting, and yes, plenty of drinks.
Somebody have a Jake and tonic on my behalf, because I don't think it would be a good idea for me right now.
The results are clear. Current county assessor Jake Zimmerman will be the Democratic nominee to lead the county in 2027. He gave his victory speech Tuesday evening. The Democratic race ended shortly after 10 p.m., with Zimmerman beating out state senators Brian Williams and Angela Walton Mosley by over 10 points for the position. Note, only 19% of voters voted in this election. Zimmerman will face Republican County Councilman Dennis Hancock and Green Party candidate J.D. McFarland when voters hit the ballot box this November. Ivy Lyons, KMOX News.
And stay with Total Information AM. Coming up, I'm going to talk with Deborah Leiter, Associate Professor in the Department of Political Science at the University of Missouri, Kansas City. She's going to give us a Missouri primary postmortem. It's 8:08.
For decades, Morgan & Morgan has represented hundreds of thousands of people at their hour of need. Injuries on the job, car crashes, medical malpractice, and nursing home abuse, Social Security claims, dangerous drugs, and dangerous products. We became America's largest injury firm for a reason, and no firm is even close. Then we got to thinking, what if we could prevent these terrible events before they occurred? So we built the AI-powered People Protector. Simply visit peopleprotector.com and type in the product you have questions about before you buy it. Children's toys and accessories, cars, drugs, products, you name it, we got it. With our success, we decided to pay it forward for all of America. Our way of saying thank you for your trust all these years. Morgan & Morgan, protecting America. And if you've already been injured, just visit us at forthepeople.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
Well, it's official. My friends have all switched to Pure Talk because I told them they could save a bunch of money on a super reliable high-speed network with unlimited data. And because they're my friends, they trust me. As for the rest of you, well, Pure Talk understands that even though you might like me, you're not just going to take my word for it, nor should you. For that reason, and for a very limited time, Pure Talk is offering any of their plans for just $15 a month for the first 3 months, including their top-tier unlimited plan that normally sells for $65 a month. Think of it like a test drive, a super simple way to save $150 while you kick the tires on Pure Talk's blazing fast network, and a fine way to see for yourself why I switched from Big Wireless, along with a few 100,000 of my closest friends. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and be connected to Pure Talk's friendly U.S. customer service team. Again, dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and let the savings begin.
Chris Ranchi and Amy Markscours connect you with the people, places, and conversations that bring our community together.
And now you get to hear about poo-poo in a box from a firefighter.
No, come on.
The hammerhead worm. And you get to hear about car fires.
And sinkholes.
And sinkholes. I love our newsroom. I think they're doing a great job.
From neighborhood happenings to local heroes, from everyday challenges to unforgettable stories. Chris and Amy, weekdays from 9 to noon on 104.1 FM KMOX. This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Now the news at 9, The Talk. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
8:10, time to check the roads with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Megan, we're doing a lot better. In fact, southbound 61 looks great now. We had that crash earlier right at 64 and 70. They cleared it. It's just slow now, Wentzville Parkway down to the interstate option. And once you get past that point, you're rolling easily coming out of St. Charles County. Eastbound 64 just slow approaching 170 to Big Bend. South 170 just at the U Club Tower now. Westbound 64 Clayton Skinker to Hanley. There's a couple of slow spots, but it's not a solid slowdown through there either. Northbound 270 north of Big Bend up past Manchester, heavy. If you're on northbound 55, that looks good coming into town. Downtown, we do have delays. In fact, it looks like you may have an incident westbound on the Poplar Street Bridge. The westbound 64 is backed up at Baugh Avenue to about 70 split, and then west of 3rd Street is jammed to the bridge, so it looks like there's something blocking there. And eastbound 5570 has slow traffic from 203 through 111. Northbound 255, you've also got some slow traffic north of Horseshoe Lake Road. Next update at 8:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Intervals of clouds and sun today. Watch out for heavy thunderstorm later this afternoon. There can be some damaging wind gusts associated with any thunderstorm, the high 91. Partly to mostly cloudy and sticky tonight with a couple of showers and heavy thunderstorms that can yield flooding downpours and damaging wind gusts, the overnight low 73. For tomorrow, a rainy start along with a thunderstorm. Watch for flooding on streets and highways. Mostly cloudy and sticky tomorrow afternoon with a stray thunderstorm. Tomorrow's high 83. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
A sunny morning, 76 in Florissant, 75 in St. Peters, and we have sunshine, 73 degrees downtown at the Arch. You're listening to Total Information AM on 104.1 FM KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. Missouri voters firmly reject 2 constitutional amendments backed by Republicans in Tuesday's state primary. Let's look at that and some of the other major races on the ballot. Joining me on the Quiver River Electric Guest Line, Deborah Leiter, Associate Professor in the Department of Political Science at the University of Missouri, Kansas City. Deborah, welcome back to KMOX.
Thank you so much for having me.
So let's look first at those amendments. Amendment 4 that would have raised the bar for passage of citizen-led petitions, and Amendment 5 that would have shifted income taxes to sales taxes. Neither came close to passing. What's that tell us?
Neither came close at all. And this is really surprising. Quite frequently when we see things like cutting taxes on the ballot, voters tend to support that. And so what we really see is voters rejecting a lot of kind of Jefferson City control and really asserting sort of citizen political authority over the direction of major changes. So this is a pretty resounding rejection of that power too.
Did some of it come down to the amount of money that was spent on ads for those two? I mean, roughly $40 million in the last accounting.
Certainly I think that this shows us just how powerful campaigns can be, especially on ballot items. When you read the simple text of the proposals, it's not really clear how voters are going to respond. So I think we really see that spending mattered and gave voters a lot of information and also really motivated them to turn out. The turnout rates really show just how important these elections were to get voters to go to the polls. So that spending really mattered, both in changing voters' minds, but also in getting them motivated to turn out.
In hindsight, was it a misstep for Governor Kehoe to insist that these appear on the primary ballot instead of the general election?
I think that there's sort of two questions here. One is how important were these issues for him to get past? And the second one is how much did this change whether people turned out to vote? If this changed the tenor of turnout and potentially made it lean more Democratic, it might have actually been a good calculation to have it here in August to save a larger Democratic wave in November. But certainly, I don't think there was any expectation of turnout reaching the records we saw in 2018.
Did the groundswell against these amendments make any difference in other races? I mean, did it give us any indication of, for example, momentum in the Democrat Party?
I think that there is some evidence of that, in that these were pretty clearly Republican initiatives and they were pretty rejected. But I think we also have to say an 80% rejection rate. This was not just Democrats turning out at higher rates. This is also Republicans being non-persuaded. So this did definitely help some Democrats, especially in some of those primaries. But I think it's a larger story that these were just not well-received proposals by a large swath of Missouri voters.
You're listening to Deborah Leiter. She is in the Department of Political Science at the University of Missouri, Kansas City. Let's turn to a couple of the races, one close to you. A major GOP priority is the seat held by Democratic Representative Emanuel Cleaver. It led to a new congressional map. Senator Rick Broughton has the backing of President Trump. How much money could we see dumped into this race now for this seat?
I would not be surprised if this ended up being the most expensive seat in Missouri and possibly one of the most expensive races in the region. This is a really important one for the Republicans to win. And certainly if we just look at the current makeup of the district, the Republican candidate going in, Rick Broughton, has a pretty big advantage. But he is going against a popular incumbent, and there's going to be lots of spending and at least some pretty good evidence that the Democrats have a lot of energy for turnout going into this election. So I think we're going to see quite a lot of ads and quite a lot of spending here in Missouri.
Speaking of Democrats and spending, we had a race here in St. Louis that was significant. Cori Bush attempting to take her old seat back from incumbent Representative Wesley Bell. This was being watched as far away as the Middle East. But, when we look at that race between Bush and Bell, did it come down to money or did it come down to ideology?
That's a really tough question. And I think that the answer is that it's a little bit of both, but that one of the reasons that this has been watched so closely is that there's a real question for what direction the Democratic Party is going. Are they tacking to the left, which would have been a re-election of Cori Bush, or are they tacking more towards the center, which is a re-election of Wesley Bell? And so I think that really this did come down to voters trying to be strategic going into the November elections, at least in Missouri. But certainly Bush was not able to persuade voters to return to her more left-leaning progressive approach compared to Bell's more centrist approach. So it is really, I think, quite an indication that while a lot of people are talking about the Democratic Party attacking the left, that's definitely not the case. And I think that's why this got so much attention, even outside of Missouri.
So as we look at the weeks ahead to the general election in November, what are the things that, as a political scientist, you are going to be watching in the state of Missouri?
definitely we're going to be watching for that sort of spending and donations. We're interested to see which candidates are pulling in money, both from the outside, but also I think we really need to look inside to see which candidates are getting into small dollar donations. And, of course, to see how people are responding to the recent decision to not allow the redistricting vote come November. I think there's going to be a lot of voter dissatisfaction. So if we start to see voter registrations increase, especially on the Democratic Party side, that's a sign that we might see a much larger Democratic wave in Missouri than we were expecting. If we don't see those numbers change, then we might see the sort of redistricting strategy of Missouri, the 7-1 map, actually be enforced. So it's really going to come down to voter motivation come November. So watching those numbers grow and where they grow is a really good sign of who's going to win and whether that new Missouri map is going to work for the Republicans come November.
Deborah, thank you so much. Appreciate your time this morning.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
That is Deborah Leiter, Associate Professor in the Department of Political Science at the University of Missouri, Kansas City. Coming up next on KMOX, drone technology recently helped a local police department track down a suspect who fled to a storm culvert. Maria Kina is going to have more on that. Plus, KMOX legal analyst Brad Young is going to join us to talk about those flock cameras and a case involving a Brentwood police officer. Also, New Jersey suing Amazon over contract drivers. We're going to find out what that's about. And later on this hour, back to school anxiety. It's real for kids. How can we help and how can we not make it worse? We'll find out from Dr. Erica Rutledge, licensed clinical psychologist and founder of Wellness in Actions. It's time once again for another check of the roads. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Megan, it looks like they cleared the incident we had on the Poplar, but we still have delays. This traffic reports the service of Ricken Financial, westbound 64 Ball Avenue to 3rd Street, and it's jammed west of there to the bridge. And eastbound 5570, 203, most of the way to 111, still slow. Northbound 255 north of Horseshoe Lake Road, midway up to 162, slow due to road work going on there. Southbound 61 still a little busy. Wentzville Parkway down to 64 or 70, but once you hit it, it's a good run out of St. Charles County. Eastbound 64 just slow, McKnight to Big Bend. Westbound 64, Big Bend to Hanley, slow. South 170 at the U Club Tower. And northbound 270, Doherty Ferry up to Clayton Road. It's a little backed up passing Manchester at this time. Next update at 8:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Income is the outcome that matters the most in retirement. Join us for Kickin' with the Rickens, Redefining Retirement with Jerry Ricken and Heidi Ricken Provost every Saturday at 3 p.m. right here on KMOX, and get more at rickenfinancial.com.
We'll have a mix of clouds and sun today, hot and humid, and a possibility of heavy thunderstorms later this afternoon. Expect a high of 91. We'll see more showers and heavy thunderstorms tonight, and that could produce some flooding. Expect an overnight low of 73. Right now we have sunshine, 73 degrees downtown at the Arch.
It's Tom Ackerman for the great company, Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. 1926, a century of service. Here's to the garage door, the largest piece of moving equipment in our home. The garage door, sometimes we take it for granted. It goes up, it goes down. You just rely on it every single day to do what it does. Well, what if it doesn't someday? That would be a problem. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis will keep your garage door reliable by checking it out. Just get it tuned up, make sure that it's running smoothly, and they can do it for any brand. You don't have to get it from them. Any brand of garage door, Overhead Door Company of St. Louis will take care of that for you. Same-day service, too. 314-781-5200. 314-781-5200. And don't be fooled by the imposters out there. There's only one Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, the one with the red ribbon. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, the genuine, the original.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and NewNordicUSA.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
You're back with Total Information AM here on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. O'Fallon, Missouri police say drone technology helped them capture a suspect wanted in a domestic violence case in less than 15 minutes. KMOX's Maria Kina got details from Mike Nunnery, operations manager for O'Fallon's Real-Time Information Center.
Kind of give us what happened there and what led you to him.
Within our Real-Time Information Center, we fly flock drone as first responder, commonly referred to as DFR. They're strategically located within the city. In this case, we had a call for service on the north end of town where a female who had an active protection order against someone who happened to be her son called 911 stating that he was at her house. We heard this information go out over the radio, and the Real-Time Information Center launched the drone knowing that we were about 15 to 20 seconds away from the address. Sent the drone over there while once on scene, immediately saw the subject in the backyard, relayed that information to the officers. The subject got spooked, presumably by the sirens from the responding officers, and he took off on foot. Updated the officers with that information, and about the time he reappeared in camera view because he was under some trees, he jumped into a culvert that went to underground sewer system. Officers showed up. We immediately let them know where he went. They converged on the area, if you will, and eventually convinced him to come out. Came out of the sewer system, 50, 75 yards away from where he went in, taken into custody without incident.
Mike, when you send those drones out, when they go out looking for someone, in the case maybe where you didn't have eyes on the person and you knew the area that they were in a situation like that where he goes into an area where he can't be seen, do they have heat-seeking ability?
They do, but you have to understand that while they do have heat seeking, they still can't see through trees. So in this case, it wouldn't have helped much. Plus, it was during the daytime. It'll pick up on those heat signatures, but he was under pretty good tree coverage. We just positioned the drone and the camera such a way that no matter what direction he came out, we would have been able to see. So for us, he ran south of the we'll call it wooded area in the backyard, and that's where he entered the culvert. Had he gone north, really north, east, or west, we would have seen him. One of those things that when we're operating the drones, we have to be cognizant of, all right, sometimes getting a close shot is really good to make sure that they don't have any weapons on them. Or if we're, trying to identify who they are, make sure we're on the right person or vehicle. There are times where we need to pan out, and that was this time where you've got to make sure you're getting a good overall view.
How has this drone technology changed how you police?
It's phenomenal. Even just today, we had an officer call out on a disturbance in the middle of Highway K, and officers start heading towards her. Well, then she stops answering her radio. So then we send more officers. I had already had the drone up for another call for service, so I had diverted to that location. And when I got there with the drone, I was able to observe that the officer was fine. She was actually walking back to her vehicle to reposition it, and I was able to let the other officers know, hey, her status is clear. And they were able to slow down. So it's always a danger when officers are running lights and sirens, put themselves in danger. They put the public in danger. It's just inherently more dangerous when you're driving that way. So anytime that we're able to give them information to slow them down, or on the contrary, if we're able to give them information that, hey, they were responding one way, but things have escalated and they need to get there quicker, they can do that as well. So it works both ways. It's been a phenomenal tool for us to be able to get on scene, oftentimes quicker than them. Our officers do a really good job of somehow being in the right place at the right time. But we're still getting there most of the time quicker than them, and then we're able to give them that information immediately so they can formulate, a game plan. How do I need to arrive? What can I expect? If it's a person on foot, have they changed clothes? And that's going to happen. So if we're able to give them that information so that they can kind of formulate a game plan as they're arriving, it just makes the whole situation a lot more safer for the officers as well as the public.
It's now 8:28, and this time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
For the last 33 years, you've discovered that at Banner Construction, we pride ourselves on quality craftsmanship. We believe the single most important decision homeowners must make when considering an exterior restoration project is, who do you hire? At Banner, we provide well-engineered, meaningful, long-term solutions to transform your home into the pride of the neighborhood. Let us help you fall in love with your home all over again. Call 314-569-1050 or visit bannerconstruction.com and have a banner day.
Let me tell you something about insurance. When you sign your insurance policy, for some brokers, that's the finish line. Handshake, commission, done. Then you may not hear from them again until it's time for renewal. But your business runs all year, so do the gaps and the risk. So go to Supersure.com. If your company has more than 25 employees, whether you're the owner, CFO, or HR manager, it can be too complex to just go buy a policy online. Supersure is the super agency built for you, licensed in every state for your business insurance and employee benefits, all with year-round support for you and your team. At Supersure.com, you can access tools like fine print facts. It'll translate your current policy into plain English so you see what's covered and what's not. Plus a business value calculator so you can estimate what your business is worth so you know what actually needs protecting. Go to Supersure.com. One super agency, one powerful platform, all your policies in one place. Supersure.com. That's Supersure.com. Paid for by Supersure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, you're not alone. Most importantly, you don't have to live with it. Paramount Men's Medical Center restores men's sex lives in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, even when Viagra and Cialis don't work. Here's Dr. Simovitz, specialist in men's health.
Paramount Men's Medical Center's painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. 98% of patients see instant results right in the office.
Men are now lasting longer than they ever imagined. And the best part, at Paramount Men's Medical Center, your consultation and first treatment are free. Qualified patients even get their testosterone checked free. Call 314-720-8444. 314-720-8444. Take control of your sex life. Call now. 314-720-8444.
It's 8:30. Roger Brand is working to get you around those backups. He joins us now from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, a little bit of a backup we had on North 270, Megan, has dissipated. It's still slow, but North 270, Big Bend up through Clayton Road, we had a stall north of Manchester that was creating that backup initially. If you're on eastbound 64, it looks like we have a incident now blocking about midway between Clarkson and 141 close to Timberlake, so it's jammed at Clarkson. And then eastbound 64 still heavy McKnight through Hanley. South 170 busy at the U Club Tower. On the Illinois side, we have a jam. It looks like it's still bumper to bumper westbound 64 from Ball Avenue all the way onto the Poplar. We had an incident on the bridge. It looks like it's opening up mid-span, but still a solid jam. And eastbound 5570, you still have roadwork delays from 111 to 203. Next update at 8:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Thank you, Roger. And the forecast from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk is calling for some storms today, tonight, and tomorrow. Any of those could produce some damaging wind gusts and flooding downpours. We're expecting a high today of 91, a low of 73 tonight, and then tomorrow a high of 83. Right now we have partly sunny skies, 73 degrees downtown at the Arch.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Found the one.
Oh, I thought I was the one.
Oh, you are, but this one's certified, background check, shows up on time, and can install all the ceiling fans.
Heating, cooling, electrical, and plumbing. Trusted pros who do it right. JerryKelly.com.
It's 8:32 at KMOX. Dr. Anthony Fauci, tight-lipped before a GOP-led Senate committee probing his conduct during the COVID-19 pandemic. AP Washington correspondent Sagar Meghani reports on potential fallout.
Dr. Anthony Fauci has appeared before a GOP-led Senate panel and said little about his handling of the COVID-19 pandemic. From the first question posed by Chairman Rand Paul,
I respectfully decline to answer.
Fauci refused to incriminate himself.
Based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution.
He did it more than 100 times, infuriating Paul and other Republicans who accuse Fauci of lying in earlier testimony about the virus's origins.
Today will be the capstone to Anthony Fauci's 40 years of abuse of power at NIH.
Fauci said it pained him to take the fifth, but he had no choice, given what he called Paul's obsession with prosecuting him. Even though President Biden pardoned Fauci last year, some Republicans say he could still face charges for lying under oath, while the GOP's Josh Hawley mocked him.
Well, nothing says honesty like taking the fifth.
Democrat Maggie Hassan praised Fauci.
And it must be enormously frustrating to know that this hearing is designed to entrap you.
Sagar Meghani, Washington.
When pain starts to slow you down, BJC Healthcare and WashU Medicine orthopedic specialists are here to help. Nationally recognized leaders in orthopedics deliver care that's informed by research and personalized for you. From everyday aches to complex injuries and recovery, we're here to help you get back to doing what you love. Find an orthopedic specialist today. Visit bjc.org/orthopedics or call 314-362-9355.
Hey, Mom, now that I have an after-school job, I think I want to buy a drum kit.
Okay, Rockstar. Let's look at your account.
When kids start making money, Chase has easy-to-use tools and expert bankers to help them learn how to manage it.
And next month, I'll buy the bass drum and the cymbals. Oh, and maybe some noise-canceling headphones for you.
Aw, you've thought of everything.
Help kids save, budget, and build financial independence, all with Chase. That's good for kids and good for parents. Visit your local Chase branch and get started.
Account subject to approval. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
This is the story of the one. The one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Your Money Report now. It's sponsored by Eamon Gattner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys. Here's Bloomberg's Courtney Donahoe.
Starbucks is still dealing with the fallout from a marketing controversy in South Korea that spiraled into a national uproar. Police raided the company's Seoul headquarters as part of an investigation into a promotion that critics say insulted victims of the country's pro-democracy movement. The controversy sparked boycott calls and apologies from executives. South Korea is Starbucks' largest market outside of the U.S. and China. And Kraft Heinz is seeing momentum in its efforts to turn around some of its lagging brands. The maker of Kraft Mac and Cheese and Heinz Ketchup raised its profit and sales outlook for the year. Earlier this year, Kraft Heinz reversed course on a plan to split into two entities. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, you're not alone. Most importantly, you don't have to live with it. Paramount Men's Medical Center restores men's sex lives in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, even when Viagra and Cialis don't work. Here's Dr. Simovitz, specialist in men's health.
Paramount Men's Medical Center's painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. 98% of patients see instant results right in the office.
Men are now lasting longer than they ever imagined. And the best part, at Paramount Men's Medical Center, your consultation and first treatment are free. Qualified patients even get their testosterone checked free. Call 314-720-8444. 314-720-8444. Take control of your sex life. Call now. 314-720-8444.
My constipation with belly pain kept coming back. I'm back! Like her. Future me. You know why I'm here. Our doctor figured it out. Your symptoms keep coming back because it's irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C. And Linzess could help you get ahead of it.
Linzess linaclotide is the #1 prescribed branded treatment for IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily prescription pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2 2 years old, it may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. Talk to your doctor and say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friends at Universal Windows Direct. So time is flying by. Before long, it's going to be fall and we'll be switching from air conditioners to our heaters. Just know that you can save a lot of money 12 months out of the year by replacing your windows with our great windows. Here's the DGS deal. Buy 4 windows, get 4 for free, and 48 months, 0% interest financing, same as cash. Great company, great people. 314-334-2522, universalwindowsdirect.com.
See more bees, wasps, or hornets around your home? Carpenter bees can damage wood structures, and wasps and hornets often hide nests inside walls. Don't risk getting stung. Let Rottler Pest Solutions protect your home and family. Call Rottler today or visit rottler.com.
Today, the Cards, the Yankees. Emron Total Access 510. First pitch 6:05. Cardinals Radio. 104.1 FM KMOX.
This is 104.1 FM KMOX. Here's what's happening. U.S. President Donald Trump says a deal to reopen the Strait of Hormuz could come as early as today. Extreme heat is causing flight cancellations. Aviation experts say hot air becomes thinner when the extreme temperatures, and that makes it harder for airplanes to take off safely. And another foodborne illness has forced changes to the menu at a major fast food chain. Chipotle Mexican Grill has removed jalapenos from its restaurants nationwide after a salmonella outbreak in Minnesota sickened more than 100 people. We head back now to the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center. Roger Brand, what's the latest?
No, we still have our trouble on eastbound 64, Megan. This traffic reports service of Huff Heating and Air Conditioning. It's a crash in the left lane eastbound 64 just before Timberlake. Traffic's jammed back through Chesterfield Parkway West. After that, it's still slow, approaching 170 through Hanley. Westbound 64 backs up through McKnight to a point about midway out to Clayton Warson. It looks like an incident was cleared to the shoulder there. North 270, still slow, Doherty Ferry to Manchester. Downtown, that's a stall. It's still out there in the right lane, westbound on the Poplar Street Bridge. IDOT just sent out a notice about that, so that's why you're still a solid jam from just west of 25th Street onto the bridge, and that's impacting northbound Route 3 north of 8th Street as well. And roadwork delays on eastbound 5570, pretty slow the whole way from 203 through 111. I'm Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
For dependable, no-pressure home comfort solutions, turn to Huff Heating and Air Conditioning. Locally owned and family-operated for over 40 years. Our team will work with you on a plan that fits your home's needs with financing available. And as always, your family's comfort is our family's business. Learn more at huffheating.com.
We are headed into a stormy weather pattern. Heavy thunderstorms possible later this afternoon with a high of 91. Otherwise, a mix of clouds and sun, hot and humid. Partly to mostly cloudy tonight and humid with a couple of showers and heavy thunderstorms that could produce some flooding downpours. An overnight low of 73. And then tomorrow, more rain, a thunderstorm possible in the morning. And then humid in the afternoon with a stray thunderstorm, a high of 83. Right now, sunshine, 73 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Megan Lynch. Thanks for listening to Total Information AM here on KMOX. Legal questions about license plate readers, Amazon drivers, and TikTok this week. Let's check in with our KMOX legal analyst, Brad Young, partner at Harris Young & Kaiser. Good morning, Brad.
Good morning, Megan.
Let's start with Flock. The license plate reading camera system continues to be under a lot of scrutiny. Now a Brentwood officer is accused of using it to stalk his ex during their divorce. Is there anything illegal about that?
Boy, this is one of those cases, Megan, that's right on the line. As you mentioned, this Brentwood police officer is accused of using something called Flock. That's a license plate camera reader that's used by law enforcement. It's a privately owned system that different cities and municipalities purchase. And the allegation is that the officer used it to track his ex-wife while they were going through a divorce. But here's what's interesting. Missouri law specifically prohibits the use of other government-owned systems that are used to track criminals or suspects. But Flock kind of falls between the cracks because it's a privately owned system. So right now, this officer has been suspended for violating the rules of Brentwood. But as of today, he has not been charged criminally.
When it comes to our license plate information and these flock systems, is there anything inherently private about that license plate information on our cars?
Boy, this is something that the Supreme Court of the United States has been wrestling with for years. And just last year, the Supreme Court ruled that using technology, just like these license plate readers, in addition to other technology out there, to put together a comprehensive map where people are going and what they're doing, that does violate the Fourth Amendment. So the question then becomes, where do we draw the line? In other words, if you're tracking someone all over the place for a period of days, that's clearly falls under the Fourth Amendment violation. If you're just tracking them for an hour, does that qualify as a violation? Those are the questions that we still have even after the Supreme Court ruling.
Let's move to another traffic issue of sorts. It's not the first time that Amazon has been called out for how the company treats employees, and now New Jersey is suing the company over how the retailer deals with its independent drivers. What's the claim here?
Well, the claim here is that Amazon has created a delivery service partner system where it appears that they're hiring all of these independent drivers, but they really, in fact, control all of these independent drivers, and they're not truly independent. Plus, we get to hear a new legal term that we don't get to hear very often, Megan. It's called a monopsony. And that differs from a monopoly. A monopoly is one where you have one seller and many buyers. But a monopsony is one where you have one buyer, but many sellers. And so in this situation, it's the opposite of a monopoly, but it's equally can violate antitrust laws. So that's what New Jersey is looking into, is whether Amazon is abusing antitrust laws by operating a monopsony when it comes to controlling all of these drivers.
What could this mean for Amazon's operations nationwide?
Well, it could mean that these so-called individual driving companies or individuals, that they would have to be treated as employees of the company. That raises a lot of legal issues for Amazon, like for workers' compensation coverage, taxation, withholding, lots of those types of issues. So that's going to be a question that's going to have to be decided in many, many different state courts as to whether or not Amazon in this instance is violating antitrust laws.
Let's turn to social media now, Brad. TikTok says it is settling 3 lawsuits filed on behalf of teens, including one from Illinois, before the cases go to trial. What's this mean for claims against other tech companies that are involved in these suits?
It's big news. This is creates what we call the empty chair, Megan. And when you have a lawsuit against multiple defendants, it becomes easier for a plaintiff to say, I have these damages. For example, the teenage plaintiffs could say, I have these problems because of the algorithms of YouTube, of TikTok, of Instagram, so forth. But then when you have one party settle, then it becomes more difficult to prove that the remaining defendants are the ones that caused the problem. Now, what does that mean in plain English to all of us? It means that TikTok is out of this particular case that's going to trial in October. But listen, this is the forefront of litigation here, because there's litigation pending nationwide, over 3,000 cases that I was able to find against the social media companies, and they're facing headwinds of litigation nationwide.
So when it comes to TikTok doing this, oftentimes, Brad, it's my understanding in settlements, companies don't really admit fault. They just say, we're going to settle this and, so we can back out of this case. What does that mean for the future for TikTok and suits like this?
Well, you're right. The settlement in this particular case is completely confidential settlement. They admit no liability. We don't even know the terms of the settlement, but it does not prevent TikTok from being sued elsewhere. So then it becomes a situation where TikTok and Instagram and others are going to have to play litigation whack-a-mole, where they have to go and fight every one of these lawsuits nationwide, unless there is some sort of global settlement of all plaintiffs, like we've seen recently with the talcum powder litigation. And that's the problem that's created for TikTok.
All right, Brad, thank you so much. Always good to have you on.
My pleasure.
We talk with Brad every Wednesday morning here on Total Information AM. He's our legal analyst and a partner at Harris Young and Kaiser. Coming up next, it's almost back to school time, and that could be causing some anxiety for your kids. How do you help and not make things worse? We're going to ask Dr. Erica Rutledge, a licensed clinical psychologist, next.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
When you enter a place of business, you're owed a legal duty that the place of business is safe for you to shop in. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you suffered an injury at a place of business, our duty is to protect you after that harm. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.com.
The 3-2 pitch with the runner going a swing.
Ready to elevate your game? Join the MBA Sportscasters Forum on Tuesday, September 15th in St. Louis. Learn from Cardinals beat reporters, broadcasters, and Hall of Famer John Rooney as they break down play-by-play, reporting, interviewing, and covering the game. Then cap off the day with the Cardinals versus Giants at Busch Stadium. Step into the booth, sharpen your skills. Go to KMOX.com/events for details and registration. Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM KMOX.
We are just a week or two away from most kids in our area going back to school, and just saying that out loud can provoke some anxiety in both kids and parents. I spoke with Dr. Erica Rutledge, licensed clinical psychologist and founder of Wellness in Actions, about how parents and grandparents can support children's worries without accidentally making that anxiety bigger.
One thing we've been noticing in the mental health field is that this has always been a big issue, but it has gotten to be more of an issue since COVID, and that we've seen increases in anxiety related to going back to school, to staying in school. So yes, it's definitely become more of a significant challenge for lots of families, not only for little people starting kindergarten, but also bigger people, right, like transitioning to college and transitioning out of college.
Do you have any sense of why it's become a bigger issue?
There's a lot of different kind of theories and again, it's likely not just one specific thing that it can be attributed to the cause of it. I think one thing, when the world kind of paused for a little bit with COVID, we sometimes some kids kind of got very comfortable with not having to leave the home, and that temporarily reduced some anxiety that may have already been there. And so now when they notice this anxiety, they remember this time of like, oh, here are some things that helped with this anxiety was when I just stayed in my house. And we know that, again, temporarily it does help to avoid or not do things that may be generating more anxiety, but in the long run, it can create more challenges over time.
Does this seem to be more pronounced, for example, when kids are changing schools, or, they know that they are jumping up to a grade that's going to be more difficult?
Yeah, I think transitions are particularly times of challenge, especially, kids coming from elementary to middle school, or that middle school to high school, where, gosh, the landscape has totally changed. And, even as adults, we can think about, for us, like, what is it like for us to start a new role or position? There's oftentimes some of that anxiety that's present as well of, right, like, we're not sure what to expect, right? Like, will we like our coworkers or colleagues? And for kids, will I have friends? Will my friends I had from last year be the same friends? So there's a lot of uncertainty going into starting a new school or transitioning to a new grade that's different from the school maybe you were at before.
I feel like this is a tightrope for parents, grandparents, other guardians that are helping kids at this time, because you don't want to downplay what they're experiencing, but you don't want to make it worse either. So what do we say? What shouldn't we say? How do we help our kids with this?
Yeah, and I think that is definitely, again, depending on the age of your child, it can of course depend, but really checking in and while we may have this urge to rescue whenever we see our child struggling, that's so natural and normal, knowing that sometimes that can create more problems for them in the long run if we don't know that, like, give them the confidence that they can do this, they can get through the day, and checking in with them, like, okay, would you like me to help you think of some ideas to get through this day a little bit better, or do you want me to just listen? So really kind of checking with the kid and seeing what they need, and also noticing kind of your urges that may want to rescue, and trying to just take some deep breaths yourself, and knowing that, gosh, this is very common and also oftentimes temporary. So research suggests that usually after kids get through, if it's college, maybe the first semester, if it's grade school, maybe the first couple of weeks, that this tends to go down, which usually happens with anxiety in general. You start to get a lot of anticipatory anxiety in the beginning, but then over time, the more and more you do that, then it generally decreases. And seeing like, okay, is there anything that I can do to help you cope with going back to school? Is it the bus ride to go to school? Is it like the lunchtime? What specifically about it can we identify and problem solve around a particular challenge you're having with the school day?
When do we know if maybe a child needs more support, if you've gone beyond that point and they're still suffering from severe anxiety?
Yeah, I would say definitely if there's kind of persistent and you notice over time it's not getting better, or if it worsens, that's when maybe checking in with your pediatrician or their primary care provider, or consulting with the school. That's another great place. Assuming your child goes away to school, connecting with either the counselors there or the teacher and asking, what are you noticing? Is there anything that we can kind of work together to do to help with this transition, making it easier for them?
And next week, we will continue our back to school focus with Dr. Erica Rutledge for parents, grandparents, and teachers managing their own overwhelming feelings while helping kids adjust, because you know what? Adults are transitioning too when back to school starts. So make sure you tune in next Wednesday morning at 8:50. Coming up tomorrow on Total Information AM. Have we depleted our weapons stockpile in the U.S. due to wars in Ukraine and Iran? I'm going to talk with Michael Wallace, Senior Professor of Practice and Program Director of Emergency and Security Studies at Tulane University. Make sure you listen 8 o'clock tomorrow morning here on KMOX.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Health Trends, sponsored by Ethos.
Genetic studies have a diversity problem. Close to 90% of genomic studies have been conducted using DNA from participants of European descent. But people from minority populations often carry the greatest burden of disease. The Kaiser Family Foundation highlights the National Institutes of Health All of Us research program as a prime model for tackling the crisis. To find out more, go to allofus.nih.gov. I'm Margie Schaefer.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband Ryan died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Things in Washington, D.C. may seem unsettled at times by their lack of progress. But one department in the U.S. government is progressing. That is the IRS. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. The IRS is in full function to collect on unpaid taxes. If you've been putting off a tax problem, it's time to call the Lance Story Law Firm and get it resolved. Don't think the government is too busy to focus on my issues. Too many of my clients thought the same. So if you owe back taxes or haven't filed returns in years, years, it's time to call the Lance Drury Law Firm and finally resolve your tax issues. Remember, if you have tax problems, you have legal problems. Call the Lance Drury Law Firm.